You already know this is Punch Wrong Boxing, a.k.a. Mr. Moonshine himself. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you at this side of heaven. God bless you all. Fight night tonight. After NBA, FMOB, it's boxing tonight. Special guest, Coach Anthony. Y'all already know the prestige trainer, world-renowned trainer in the sport of boxing, the phenom. He's going to be timing in. Y'all already know, man. Yo, we're going to be chopping it up. We're going to talk about the goods, the bads, the ugly, the cutthroat, the loyalty, the blessings, the motivation. Y'all already know, man. A lot of people talk about the fighters, but of course, the trainers is the men and women that mold the fighters, the men and women that mold the warriors, modern day warriors, modern day gladiators. You already know they put their life on the line for pure entertainment. What's good, Black and Brown? What's good, Big Dan? What's good, Ronald J. Woody? Everybody in the comment box, what's up? What's good? Hope you're having a good Friday. Yo, Black and Brown Boxing. Subscribe to this channel. You're gonna be having that smoke today. Open smoke. World Combat. Yo, good looking out for that chat. Chat. What's good? What's good, chat? 6, what's good? Lisa, the queen, was good. France, my friend, mi brother. Navarrete, Venya for the WBO. What was it? No, junior featherweight. Strap. Oh, yeah. Ralph was good. Plátano power. Ya tú sabes, coño. ¿Qué está pasando aquí? Vamos a ver lo que está pasando aquí. Yo, shout out to Michelle Rivera. He's going to be fighting in the undercard of Gervonta Tank Davis versus Ligo Santa Cruz. Halloween. Also, we're going to be talking about also predictions. Ryan Garcia, Luke Campbell, December 5th. On the same day, we got Earl Spence and Danny Swift Garcia. And I got a lot of things to say about Danny Swift Garcia as well. A lot of people ain't giving him a chance. I don't know why. I don't know what's the narrative. I don't understand, y'all. Danny Garcia, still one of the top dudes in the welterweight division. Y'all better stop playing with that boy. Canelo Alvarez still don't got no fight. Oscar de la Hoya, I don't know what's going on with the zone. Who else? But it's going to be a great October. October is lit, is on fire. Boxing finally got his momentum. I don't remember the last time boxing had this momentum in a long time. I don't remember the momentum. Every weekend is a fight. Sergey Lipinets. They postponed the fight to October 24th. Sergey Lipinets going to be fighting Abdul Kokorov for the IBF interim welterweight belt. IBF got an interim. When was the last time that the IBF ever had an interim? That shit is crazy. That's crazy. When was the last time the IBF had an interim title? But I don't know. Ron was good. Everybody in the comment box, you already know, man. Salute. God bless each and every one of y'all. Y'all already know the best investment you can make in the world. Having a personal relationship with God, build it. Man, yesterday was a good stream, y'all. Shout out to everybody that was happy hour Thursday, karaoke night. Who is the man that will risk his life for his brother, man? Punch! Yeah, can you dig it? Let me get a shot. Jack Daniels, Gentleman Jack. Get it in your store or liquor near you. Hey, yo, cut me a check. Cut me a check, Jack. Oh, I'm switching over back to Moonshine. Te mando pa'l carajo. Red Glove Militant was good. I know this fight is taking a long time, but my boy, prestige trainer, damn it. All these fighters should be calling this dude if you want to be a champion, a campeon. You got to call Coach Anthony, man. Huh? Every time you take a blow to the head, you be like, my man, what the fuck, man? What's Coach Anthony said? Anytime you get a blow in the head, the fighter's got to think about it. Coach, what the fuck? Where Coach Anthony at? What the fuck? Coach, you fired. You fired. Y'all better stop playing. This is a life or death sport. You better have the perfect dude in your corner. Pause. You know, man. Stop it, man. You know, June was primal. I don't want to pause throughout the whole damn live like the other day. Yo, Punch, you gotta pause that. Go ahead, pause that. What's that song by Jadakiss or something? Or what is it? Too grown to be like, hey, yo, whatever. Yo, Black and Brown, that Dear Mama, you won the karaoke yesterday. What up, Punch? Happy Friday. God bless you too, man. So, yeah, man. The guest of the night. And look, he's going to be spitting some real ish. All right? And fighters, if you listening, yo, take notes, man. Other trainers, inspiring trainers, take notes, man. Because there's a lot of sacrifices, but also there might be sad stories too. Not everything is perfect, you know? Not everything is perfect, but Coach Anthony, that's a man. Y'all talking about the wizard? We all in the yellow brick road, y'all. We all in the yellow brick road. And guys like Coach Anthony, they're the wizard. They're going to implement heart. They're going to implement courage. They're going to implement statistical fortitude, mental fortitude, all the fortitude you can think of, God damn it. That's the way it is. If you don't got balls, pause, he will instill ball. My fault. You understand what I'm trying to say, all right? Damn, man, I can't even. Testicular fortitude. Let's go with the testicular fortitude type of stuff. If you don't got corazon, you go instill that corazon in you. If you were going to school scared and the dude called you out in 3 o'clock and you don't show up in 3 o'clock because, oh, man, I ain't prepared to fight. Go to Coach Anthony, God damn it. He's going to prepare you. He's going to tell you about that, the virtual training he does. No excuses. Yo. Coach Anthony in the building.
Yo, can I have you just run around with me wherever you go? Like, I just need somebody to hype me up, man. Like, keep me gassed up the whole day. Like, you got a job, baby. Like, I need that right now. Like,
you're the truth, son. You're the truth.
Yeah, I need that right now. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I'm blessed. You feel me? So right. I got no complaints. How about you, man? You the hard work out here.
Man, you know, I can't complain, man, especially during the times we're in right now. You know what I mean? A lot of people going through some tough times. You know what I mean? And I'm just blessed to say that it hasn't affected me personally or anybody personally that I'm really close to. So, you know, I'm just out here, man, just doing the best I can, like everybody else, doing what I love to do, thank God, and just keeping it moving. You know what I mean? Keep pushing.
That's what's up, man. We all got to keep pushing. We all trying to overcome. We shall overcome someday. We shall overcome someday, man. Yo, let's. It's so easy to go into boxing right now, but let me ask you about current events. I'm gonna ask you about what do you feel we are in society? Talking about that, you know, we going through a lot of stuff as humans. We're going through this pandemic and things of that nature. But what do you feel the landscape of society right now? How you feel?
It's very weird. It's a weird dynamic. That's how I feel. It's very weird. You know, you got the pandemic, of course. You know, you got a lot of different opinions on it. You got conspiracy theorists. You got people who believe everything that they hear in the media. You got other people who are skeptical. You got people wearing the mask. You got people who don't want to wear the mask. You got people saying that the mask is necessary. You got other people saying it doesn't work. You got people who are Republicans and you got people who are Democrats. They want to kill each other right now. You know, you got a lot of things going on as far as racial issues. You got a lot of people not happy about some of the things that are going on. You know what I mean? That unfortunately are happening to brown and black people on the media side. But then you got another side that has sympathy for the police, and they want to get their sympathy and respect also for their sacrifices. So I just think it's a very difficult time. I just think that everybody just needs to, you know, just be aware that we're all human beings. We all out here doing the best we can, and of course we're gonna have disagreements. Of course we're gonna have, you know, disagreements, and of course we might not see eye to eye on everything. But that don't mean that we need to, you know, resort to violence and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I just think it's unfortunate right now what's happening in the world, and hopefully we can all figure it out. You know, what's funny is I see a lot of people on the internet, you know, talk about, you know, like racist, a racial division right now. You see what I'm saying? I see it on Instagram, I see it on Facebook. But what's funny is when I go to the store, the other day I went to the store and it crossed my mind. There was a black young lady. She held the door for an older white lady. The older white lady walked in and said, "Thank you, miss." And then the lady said, "No problem, man." They walked into the store and it was all good. So it's like I see it on the media, but in the real world, I don't see it, right? Where I'm at least, where I see it, I see peace. I see people who are actually cool. But when I turn on my phone and I see the internet, I see nothing but drama and all this negative stuff. And it's just like, you know, is that what's really going on in the whole world, or is that just a select group of people that they got the cameras on? So I don't know. I don't want to be the person to get in the middle of politics, of course, but that's what's going on right now, unfortunately. And I just hope that we can be strong and get through this. And regardless who gets elected or any of that stuff that's going on, hopefully we can just stay level-headed, focus on what we need to do, protecting our families and doing the best we can. You know what I mean? That's why I'm at.
I agree with you 100%. I feel like, you know, we could all have different opinions, different perspectives, but we could all, I believe that we could all come with a concrete understanding. We don't have to agree, but we could come with a concrete understanding of why you may feel like this, why this person may feel like this, but it's not to, you know.
If we all put on a song right now, there's 5 people in the room. 2 of those people might not like the song. So do they leave the room? Do they get into a fist fight over it? Like, we all don't hear the same. We all don't see the same. You might like doing podcasts and streams. Somebody might hate it. Somebody rather read books and write articles or something else. And you might be like, yo, I hate reading. I hate writing. I like to do visuals. I like to talk on camera. You know what I mean? Like me, I'm a learner where I need to learn through visual. I need to learn through people. Like even you behind the scenes been helping me with a couple of things that I appreciate you for. And I have to ask you questions and you like, yo, and you can do it like this, you can do it like that, right? That's how I learn. Somebody like you might say, man, I just go on Google, look it up, figure it out. Everybody's different. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna send you the bill for that one. I'm gonna send you the bill. So tax. Nah, but yeah, man. I think, you know, I feel like, you know, we should all have this type of camaraderie. That I think that a natural being, as human, is to be good to one another. We know right from wrong. We don't gotta read to know what's right from wrong. You know, this is a natural being to be good people. You know, I think we learn to be bad, but I think naturally,
perfect, right? None of us are perfect. We all got a past. We all got something that, you know, we're not proud of in our life that I guarantee, you know what I mean, we probably don't like bringing up if we don't have to. But at the end of the day, you know, and that's what makes us beautiful, right? That's what makes human beings beautiful, that we make mistakes and we're the most forgiving, you know, people. Like we forgive each other regardless of the mistakes. So, you know, I just think that we always have to be aware and look in the mirror before we judge other people. Like, hold up, am I really as good as I'm trying to like point the finger at this guy? But who am I to point the finger? You see what I'm saying? How can I tell somebody what's right or wrong when I done did wrong in my life? You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
Yeah, man. For me, what I love about boxing is that boxing, I always say, it translates to life itself. Boxing translates to life itself. It has its ups and downs. It has you got to adapt. You got to take a knee sometimes in life. You got to step back. You got to give up a round so you can, get back in the corner, stand back, listen to instructions. You can't shortcut life. You see it in boxing. If you shortcut your training, if you try to cheat in your training, what's going to happen in the ring? So I see boxing. When I'm watching a boxing fight, I see, like, I could see my life, or I could see just a life in the sense of, damn, this guy is he's digging deep. He's losing, but then he's winning. Sometime at the end of the day, you might not win. You might not win, or you might not get everything that you wanted in life, but you could be content in the end of the day. Or sometimes you just win it all and you get whatever that you put in. But once you finish, once you finish this life, this 12 round bout that we all in, you want to go like by the time you hit that deathbed, you be like, you know what? I lived the life. you know, and that's
Yeah,
why
yeah. It's like a fight. It's like a fight. If I'm gonna lose a fight, I want to lose a fight knowing that I gave it all I got. I don't want to lose a fight knowing that I had some in the tank. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to go back. You don't want to be that guy that goes back to the locker room like, damn, yo, I could have did more. Like, yo, if I lose, I lose. You feel what I'm saying? Like, but I tried and I
yeah.
went for it and I tried to win. And you know what I mean? I think that's how life is. So you're exactly right. Boxing is the perfect metaphor for like every aspect you can compare it to real life in every aspect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So, man, how's the life of a trainer? How's your life as a trainer?
Man, right now it's a lot different than it was a year ago. You know what I'm saying? I will say I'm not working with the fighters as much as I would like to. I have a group of amateur boxers that really relied on me for a while that I'm not working with consistently, unfortunately, right now. But it's due to the fact that we don't have any fights coming up. There's a lot going on right now. There's a lot of uncertainty going on right now. So I had to take a step back from that for a little bit. But the life of a trainer, man, is it's it's an interesting life because you have to put these athletes, what I mean, as a main priority. Their life, in a sense, comes before ours as far as priorities. If a fighter has a big fight coming up, he needs he needs you. You know what I mean? You need to help him through his training. You have to help him through his psychology, his psychological. You know what I mean? He may need you at certain time. If it's a professional fighter, you got to work on their schedule. You know what I mean? So you may have something personally you want to do, but the fighter trains at that time. And if he's the fighter and he's the professional and he's the one paying you, you got to work on his time. So it just becomes a big thing where it's like they come before you, as far as priorities go, and in a sense, I should say, within reason. And and you become like a big brother or a father figure to a lot of these fighters. You know what I mean? For the
Yeah.
pros, more like a big brother or a
Yeah.
brother because I'm not that much older than them, like some of these other trainers. But for the amateurs, I'm more like a really big brother or even a father figure. I work with kids that are 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. And, I be having to take them under my wing like my sons sometimes, you know what I mean? And, at least teach them certain things that they need to learn that will help them in life and help them in the ring. Because for me, boxing is a lot deeper than just boxing. It's not just about throwing punches, jab, crosses, and hooks. It's about just becoming a better person. It's about, being disciplined, staying focused, completing your tasks. And these are the skills that you learn as a boxer. You learn to complete tasks, learn to follow through, you learn to give it all you got. And these are skills that will carry on with you throughout life, whether you decide to fight or not.
Yeah. I was thinking about the evolution. I'm looking at every other sport, it has its evolution. Now, you're a young trainer, right? But you attain a lot of wisdom. I don't see boxing as having an evolution like other sports. But do you think that there's an evolution in the sport of boxing? Do you think there's an evolution in training? Because there's a lot of people that be like, you know what? They got to go back to the old school training. What is the old school training? But I can understand because I don't see the evolution of boxing. Like, think about it. Mike Tyson. You look at Mike Tyson, you look at the heavyweights today. I mean, I think that Mike Tyson is still he has his evolution, but I don't. It's not like Allen. Put it this way: in NBA, you see Allen Iverson. He had the crossover, and everybody did the crossover. But you see that crossover now is a regular dribble. Now it's a regular. It's a regular dribble. It's not. But it keeps going up. It keeps going. Dude, Michael Jordan was just, from the line. I do this cocking it back, and they doing windmills off the line. But in boxing, I don't see no evolution. Could it be an evolution in boxing?
Oh yeah, I think so for sure. I think that boxing has evolved in its own way. Maybe not in the way that you're thinking, but it definitely has evolved. If you look at boxing, even the great fighters of the 80s and the 90s, and then you start looking at the new guys like the Terrence Crawfords and the Canelo Alvarez's, there's differences there. But boxing at the end of the day is still boxing. I think back in the day, you just had more guys that were involved with the sport. So, for instance, more athletes trained with boxing in the 80s and the 90s. It was a much more prevalent sport. You had more people who aspired to be boxers. Now you got guys who want to play football, play basketball. They're getting pulled in different directions. They're becoming entrepreneurs. We got the internet now. There's a lot more options. Back then, you had the best athletes were becoming boxers, and you had a lot of people who really loved boxing. There were trainers and teachers, and they were really teaching boxing. And now you have less teachers and more trainers, and that's the only unfortunate part about it. But I do see evolution as far as how fighters move. If you look at how they move now, they seem to not use as much footwork, not as much bouncy rhythm. They seem to step a little bit more, conserve a little bit more energy. But at the same time, I feel like they've lost some of the things that the fighters from the 80s and the 90s had, you know. So I think it's like a give or take there. But also the training has evolved, you know. Fighters now are training now with conditioning coaches, and they got the better supplements and stuff like that. Back in the day, it was old school, hardcore, you know, just work. So, you know, it's a funny dynamic, man. But I definitely think that boxing will continue to evolve. It's just, you know, we just have to see the direction it goes.
So what do you feel like? What do you feel like you could bring to the table to evolutionize the game?
To evolutionize the game, that's a good question. I never thought of it that way. But for me, you know, what I like to do is I just like to give the answers to the questions. So I know how I learned. You know what I mean? I know how I learned. When I ask questions, I constantly ask questions. I need answers, and I need them answers to be simple. Because if you give me a complicated answer, I'm still basically gonna be like, oh yeah, congratulations. What did you just say? I don't know what you just said. Like, can you say that again? You know what I mean? I need somebody to be like, this is how you do it, Anthony. A, B, C. So when I teach, I want it to be that simple for somebody. So what I could bring to the table, I think for an athlete is I got the answers for the questions. If I teach something and you don't agree or you don't understand what I'm teaching, you just ask. And then we'll
Yeah.
go over it. And then we'll go over wherever you think is wrong. And then we'll go over why I think what I'm doing is correct. And if I'm wrong, which doesn't happen much, you know what I'm saying? You know, that we'll take it. You know, we'll accept it. But I'm a big student of the fundamentals and the art of boxing. I'm a huge student. I probably know more about the skill base of boxing than I do know about boxing as a whole. You know, I might not be a big historian of the sport like some of these guys are that they could tell you who fought in 1949 or not, but I can explain to you what can happen in this situation and that situation. And it's just because I've been studying the sport my whole life. And, you know, I've been around some good people, good teachers, good fighters, and, you know, and I'm continuing constantly studying and continuing to learn, you know.
So basically it has to be like a team effort. The trainer and the fighter has to be special. It has to.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like the fighter, obviously, it's like when people ask me what's more important, offense or defense in boxing.
Mhm.
And I tell them it's a 50-50 thing, right? You got to have 50% offense, 50% defense. Once, you know, lacking too much in one area, you might get away with a 60-40. You might get away with a 70-30. But at the end of the day, boxing is 50-50, right? I'm throwing punches, I'm blocking punches. I'm throwing punches, I'm slipping punches. I got to do both. It's the same thing. If the trainer's putting all the effort, but the fighter's not, or if the trainer's talented, but the fighter is uncoordinated, or if the fighter's got all the will and determination, but the trainer's not dedicated to the fighter and the trainer's not teaching them, then that's not a team, right? We need to be 50-50. So a trainer needs to be putting in half of the work, the fighter needs to put half of the work, and then you get 100%. And I just think that, or you could say 100 and it's 200%, whatever you want to say. But at the end of the day, they both got to give each other the equal amount of effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I feel like I do feel like, you know, it does take a special trainer and a special fighter, you know, and timely. And it's like the Roy Jones. You can't just fight a Roy Jones out of nowhere. You can't find a Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker.
You know how you find those guys? It's just like business, right? The harder you work, the luckier you get. So if you're a trainer and you're staying in the game, you're constantly working, you're constantly available, you're constantly trying. One day, whether it's early in your career or late in your career, you know what I mean, you will end up getting somebody that walks through those doors. You know what I'm saying? So the way I look at it is just like opportunity strikes when you're prepared. You know what I mean? You know, when you've done all the hard work as a coach and you soaked up the knowledge and you're ready to give it to somebody and you're constantly there and you're consistent, you know, people just come into your life. You know what I mean? I came into the game and relatively quickly have got great talent that just came to me. And I didn't have any accolades as a ex-world champion like some of these trainers or ex-Olympian or anything, right? I just came into the game, showed and proved that I'm a hard worker, that I'm willing to learn, that I know what I know. And the next thing you know, guys start coming to me, and you know, I was able to showcase what I was able to produce. You know what I mean? And it just that's how it worked for me. So I know that's how it could work for somebody else.
There's a trend in boxing that now when you interview a boxer nowadays and you ask, have you seen your opponent? It seems like now all these, I don't know if they got it from Floyd, but now they be like, I don't watch film. What is this new thing about these new boxers that they don't watch film? Or do they trust their trainer enough that their trainer will do the homework and they just got to listen to the trainer? They don't need to do that. Or should fighters watch film? Or it should be a trainer's job? What do you think? Because I think it's 90% of the fighters say they don't watch film no more. I don't know. Maybe it's like an ego thing. I ain't watching you. I'm going to beat your ass.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's different. Honestly, I think that's a case-by-case situation. I'll tell you why. I think that if a fighter watches too much film of his opponent, that can get into his head and mess with his psychological. Because you start to see the stuff that guy does good. So let's say, for instance, you're fighting Canelo Alvarez, and I put on Canelo Alvarez's best highlights of him knocking people out. And the only thing you see is Canelo, boom, knocking people out. And you just watching like, oh, snap. You gonna knock me out. That can mess with your psychological too. So it's kind of hard for a fighter to just soak up another fighter over and over and over. Now, ask those same fighters if they saw when their opponent got knocked out. If they did, they'll be, oh, yeah, I saw when he got knocked out. See, they'll be okay with watching their opponent get their ass beat, but how much of the good stuff do they want to watch? That's the real thing. That's the real truth of it. And a lot of it has to do with the psychological effect it has, because now you know that guy is threatening in an area and you might start to believe the hype in a way. And now you may not fight up to your potential because now you're cautious. So I think that for a fighter to watch film is case by case. Some guys might thrive off of that. Other guys might need to stay away from that. You know what I mean? Just so they can go ahead and stay focused on their training and they trust their coaches. So I think boxing in a whole, boxing is a very case by case sport.
Okay.
For one fighter is poison for another. So, you know, what this works in this camp might hurt another fighter. So you have to know your fighter. You have to know your athlete very well.
Yeah, I think I would like to ask you this, because I think an elite fighter, and let's say an accomplished fighter, I think at this stage for trainers or for the fighter, I think it's more about game planning. An example, Triple G is already proven. Let's say he's having a new trainer. I don't think that he's having a new trainer for technique. I think it's more game planning. How important is for a trainer not to just teach them the tools and the technique, but how important is game planning? Because I feel like there is trainers that is good with technique and all of that, but game planning, it doesn't translate timely fashion in the corner. How much is game planning? How important it is?
Yeah, I mean, having a good set of eyes with a good boxing IQ is very important. So I think that game planning within reason is very good. I think that you always have to leave that little wiggle room for the unexpected, right? Because boxing is the theater of the unexpected. So maybe you game plan a certain way, and now this fighter fights totally different than he fought previously, because he understood that you might have been trying to game plan for that. So when you game plan, I think that you have to game plan there has to be some sort of a within reason. So, you know, if you notice that your fighter likes to drop his left hand after a jab, maybe you game plan to time the right hand over the top. If you notice little things like that. But like to make a complete game plan, like this is exactly how the fight is going to play out, that can work also, because what happens is if you got an aggressive fighter that you're fighting, and maybe he expects you to stay on the back foot and box him from the outside, but maybe you surprise him and you decide to be the aggressor and push the action. Now that's a game plan. You decided to press the action. He thought you were going to back up, and you ended up in turn throwing him off, messing up his game plan. So yes, game planning is important, but you also have to say to yourself, what if the game plan don't work? So you just have to leave wiggle room for a fighter to just be able to operate on his own, see things in the moment, make adjustments round by round, so you can go ahead and just, so like I said, game planning works, but it can't be the end all be all, because sometimes the game plan doesn't work. Then what,
So let me ask you a question. You on the corner with Tevin Farmer. He lost to Jojo Diaz. What was the game plan, and what would you change? What would you implement and change for the next fight, for the rematch?
Yeah, I mean, there's several things that went wrong. There were several things that went wrong in that camp as a whole. You know what I mean? That it's really not my place to speak right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna let Tevin speak about it because he wants to speak publicly about the whole thing. So I'm gonna just sit back and let him do him on that one. But yeah, I thought that the game plan could have been different. I thought that there were some things that could have been different. But at the end of the day, he was also dealing with, a weight cut issue and other things that sound like excuses. Like we talked, off the record about how when a fighter starts to when a fighter starts to bring up things like weight cuts and injuries and family problems, it always sounds like an excuse.
Yeah.
And boxing's a very unforgiving sport, right, guys? And, guys don't want to ever give these fighters the benefit of the doubt that those things are actual facts. Oh, yeah, you're saying that now. Why didn't you say it before? Yeah. Not knowing that, how can you say that before a fight? If you say that before the fight, you ruin the magnitude of the fight, so you can't say it before the fight. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I'm going to let Tevin talk on those things. But yes, there would be a different game plan in place, and there would be things done differently in training that would definitely give Tevin a much better chance to win in a rematch. And I believe that Tevin can beat Jojo Diaz. I really honestly 100% feel that he can beat Jojo Diaz as long as the training goes well, the cut goes well, and that he follows what he's supposed to do. I think a 100% focused, ready Tevin Farmer can beat a Jojo Diaz without a doubt. And what we need to talk about is why doesn't Jojo Diaz want to give Tevin Farmer his rematch when it was in the rematch clause, when Tevin gave him a chance to fight him, when Tevin didn't have to give him a chance? That's what we need to talk about. We need to call Jojo Diaz, bring him on here right now. What? I want to hear what Jojo Diaz got.
Damn it, somebody give me the damn number to Jojo Diaz.
I want to hear what Jojo Diaz got to say about that.
Jojo, let me see, man. He's on Twitter or something. I know he be tweeting somewhere. Damn, we gotta get him.
Shoot him a DM. You know
damn it, I'm going to shoot him right now. Jojo, come on, Jojo. So, yo, I'm going to shoot him a DM. I'm
dead serious. Coach Anthony, Tevin Farmer's coach, wants to know, why don't you want to honor the rematch clause that was in the contract when you were so generously given a title shot when you weren't even a mandatory? I would love to know.
Joshua, eh?
Just give him just follow the clause, man. It's not that difficult.
Damn right, man. Yo, this is what I said. My prediction to that fight. Oh, look at it right there. Look at it right there. Jojo, I find you. Find you, Jojo. In my prediction, I said, okay, there is this notion that Tevin Farmer does. I mean, he's not a knockout artist, right? So I said, looking at the Gary Russell fight, and I'm looking at the championship rounds of the Gary Russell fight, Jojo Diaz figured out that, you know what, this guy really can't. He's not gonna knock me out, you know. And then when I was watching when I was doing the study on that fight, and that's how the Tevin Farmer, I said, on the Jojo Diaz fight, I'm like, I don't think that Tevin Farmer is gonna keep him off him. Now, I don't know if he was gonna be effective aggression, but I felt like he's not gonna keep him off him. That Jojo Diaz will have to press, and that's what he did. And in the live commentary, I'm like, yo, if he does that, he's gonna win the fight. So
yeah, that's
the way I saw it.
That wasn't a bad prediction on your behalf at all. But the thing is, you have to also look at how Tevin performed. Tevin didn't do anything that Tevin normally does. It was a point where Tevin was looking up at the sky, and people thought that he had some kind of a brain trauma. It was to the degree where he actually had to go to the hospital after the fight because they thought that he encountered some kind of brain trauma. But like I said, people don't know about a poor weight cut that had his body acting in an abnormal way, right? So with that being said, that was not a 100% Tevin Farmer. Now, I don't want to go ahead and make excuses. I don't want to speak too much on the situation without him coming out publicly speaking about it first. But at the end of the day, we have to also be real. It's like when you saw, you know, I don't know, Mike Tyson fight Buster Douglas the first, you know, when people knew something wasn't right. Like, yo, like, what's wrong? Like, I could understand if you was Mike and you still lost, but there was something off that night. There was something off with Tevin Farmer that night. And the people who really follow Tevin Farmer, the people who know Tevin Farmer know he wasn't performing at his best. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Jojo Diaz isn't a fantastic fighter. I think he's a fantastic fighter. He was an Olympian. I thought he did damn well when he fought Gary Russell Jr. I'm a Jojo Diaz realist. I'm not a guy who he's going to say, Jojo Diaz, you a bum. My fighter's way better than you. I'm not doing that. I give him his props, salute him for what he could do. But let's just go ahead and be real. That wasn't a 100% Tevin Farmer, and you should have been giving Tevin Farmer his immediate rematch, no questions asked. Period.
I'm hitting Jojo Diaz right now. I'm tweeting him right now. Coach Anthony. Damn you. I'm about to tell you. That was gonna get lit up in here. Go Anthony. Oh, so explain to the people, what's your role? What's your role on Tevin Farmer's corner? What's your role?
I'm just one of his coaches. So he has 4 coaches: me, Chino Rivas, Nick Rosario, and another guy by the name of Edwin Rosario, who's on board now. And we all just give him a different perspective on what we feel he should be doing. For a very long time, he was trained by Rasheem Jefferson and Chino Rivas. They were the 2 head trainers. Then Tevin went ahead and brought me on board, and he brought on Nick, and he brought on Edwin. So Tevin always liked to have a variety of coaches. That's kind of his way. He likes to have different information from different people. So that's basically my role. I'm just one of the voices in his ear during camp and during training. So we all have, you know, our own methods, our own philosophies, and I guess he just likes to learn from more than one person.
So, somebody's the head trainer, right? Somebody make the calls. Who makes the calls?
Well, you could say, you can give that credit to Chino Rivas, was always his head trainer.
Okay.
Chino, he was the one who has worked all his corners, conducted his camps. You know, but as of moving forward now, everybody has kind of an equal role. So before it was Chino Rivas and everybody was basically just working with him, but now is everybody's an equal role. So I don't know who's going to be in the corner for the very next fight or how we're going to do that. But as far as the training camps go, we all have a good role.
Coach Anthony got to be on that corner, Tevin. You got to call the shots. We don't want that corner to be like Deontay Wilder and be like, yo, you going to throw the towel? Nah, don't throw the towel. You going to throw the towel? Yo, you better throw the towel. Nah.
The good thing about everybody in the team, you know, everybody, we're good with each other. And, you know, at the end of the day, everybody has a voice. So, you know, as long as everybody's voice is heard, you know what I mean? That's all that really matters. As long as Tevin's listening and you know, it can go. But yeah, I like where you're going with this. I like being the HNIC if possible.
That's
you know
what I'm talking about, man.
I'm feeling that. I'm definitely feeling that. But you know, it is what it is, man. I'm just blessed to be here, and I'm happy to be with a guy like Tevin Farmer. He's a phenomenal person and a beautiful person, and in and outside the ring. If you get a chance to meet him, I guarantee you'll have the same things to say about him.
Debo. But I well, from the outside looking in and looking at the videos and looking, it seems like y'all have a chemistry.
Oh yeah,
it seems like I don't have to ask the question, does you have a chemistry? It just looks like you have a chemistry.
Well, it's crazy because, you know, Tevin Farmer does a lot of beautiful when he's on point, right? The Tevin
Yeah.
Farmer we all know. He's been compared to Sweet Pea Whitaker. Let's just be real. Sweet Pea. People have actually made comments because they see my style of teaching and say, wow, man, the stuff you taught Tevin Farmer is fantastic. What people don't realize is I got with Tevin during the Kenichi Ogawa camp, which means that was his first world title camp. So he already was doing that stuff. And he was doing that stuff naturally. Like, Tevin's a natural fighter. He's a guy that I feel like he's a guy that doesn't even know what he's doing. It just happens for him. Like, he'll do a dope move, and you'll be like, what did you just do? He'll be like, I don't know what I just did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he's one of those type of guys, just a natural, instinctive fighter. So when I work with him now and I teach him some of the stuff that he's actually already doing, even he'll be like, yo, that's crazy because I be doing that. And I'm like,
it's like second nature.
Our styles mesh because I like to teach guys how to bend away, shoulder roll, and do little things that he was already doing since the amateurs. You know what I'm saying? So Tevin Farmer is just a natural fighter, and we click because we have a similar philosophy about how I like boxing to be. You know what I mean?
Hey, that's how you got to be the HNIC. You feel me?
Right.
And you're young. I mean, hey, young trainers are. Look at Eddie Reynoso. Eddie Reynoso's a young trainer too. You know?
Right. And I just think that, you know, sometimes, hey, man, you could be right, you know what I mean? But that's not my job to make that final decision. But at the end of the day, I'm good with whatever role I got with Tevin. He's my man.
Yeah. No, don't worry. I'm not trying to throw anybody from the team under the bus. You know, you feel me? You know, you just got to give them a call and say, yo, you want to be a champion again? I said, you want to be a champion again?
Tevin's gonna be a champion again, no matter what, man. Trust me. He'll be there. He'll get it.
Hey, JoJo. You know, I tweeted to JoJo Diaz. I don't know if he's going to duck. I mean, it looks like that's what he's been doing.
He's already fucking Tevin, so I mean, I don't know. It seems like it might be who he is. I don't know.
Ooh.
I ain't trying to say nothing or anything. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to call a spade a spade. You feel me?
It's a rematch clause, though. Huh? He signed a contract, right?
Right.
Hey.
But moving on, man. Moving on from
JoJo Diaz.
Yeah, we respond, though. We come back to it, though. I'm cool.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna take a little shot, you know, Jack Daniels, you know, gentleman. I feel like a gentleman today. Feel me? Yesterday I felt like a Roddy Piper type of dude, but today I feel like a gentleman today, man. Salute, man. Salute. It's not drink chance, but shout out to Nori.
All right. I grew up listening to Nori, man.
He a wild dude too.
Nori, man. He's like he raised me. He was one of my fathers. Him, Nas, Jay-Z, Biggie, all of them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, who's your favorite?
Man, it's too difficult, man.
Top five. Top
five rappers of all time?
For you. Your playlist.
I mean, if I had to make a top five, you know, we're gonna have to go with the Big, the Pac, the Nas, Big Pac, Nas. You gotta have a spot for my man Big Pun in there. You gotta have so you got Big Pac, Nas, you got Big Pun. You got there's somebody on Jay-Z. How can I forget Jay-Z? I mean, the GOATs, man. You know what I mean? Those are the GOATs. And then, you know, I got my personal little guys I like to listen to. Like, I always love Young Jeezy. Young Jeezy's like one of my favorite rappers of all time. I can't put him in a top five category, but he's in a top five playlist type guy. You know what I'm saying? I like that kind of guy. So, you know, I just like hip hop, man. I like all the best artists. I like down south artists too. You know what I mean? So I like the GOATs though. We know who the GOATs are from New York, man. Those are the real GOATs. I mean, by now they be going people that's going to be arguing. You know. I mean, the generation going to probably be like, "Who the hell you like?" Come on, man. But it's the truth. Like those are my GOATs. I'm sure these new guys are going to say like Drake and what's the young boy name? You know,
Little something because there's a lot of littles. So it's somebody.
You know, you had the kid. What's the kid's name, man? He's like Nas. He's like Nas, but he's not Nas.
J. Cole.
Then you got the kid from Cali. He's like another one.
What's this?
I be forgetting these guys' names, yo. That's how I know. Like, yo, it's like
you're getting old.
Yeah,
you the one that's getting punched in the head.
Nah.
I thought you the one with the mitts.
Yo, that shit vibrates. You heard it when you vibrates, goes to your shoulder. Like,
I see.
You know what I mean?
I see. What the hell is his name? I know I got. Do with Dr. Dre. At least he got to make another song so I can remember him. Anyway.
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar. Yeah. Kendrick.
Kendrick Lamar. You got J. Cole. You got Drake. Like, them guys are gonna be with these guys. You know, guys like that. They're gonna be like, yo, how can you? So, you know, we all gonna disagree, but you can't front. Like, when you go back and you listen to an old Nas album, or if you go and you listen to an old, you know, if you listen to Jay-Z's catalog, if you listen to these guys, you be like these guys really the GOAT. Like, seriously, like they really.
It was just a different style, man. Even the performance was just a different style. But that's what I mean about even in boxing. Like, for me, I don't see that there was an evolution in hip hop. I mean, it plateaued somewhere. It plateaued. I feel.
Yeah, okay, so look, I'm gonna be honest. I think that boxing, hip hop are very similar in that regard. You had the golden eras, and it's like the '90s was the golden era for hip hop, right? Like 99, like 97 to like 2000, and like I don't know, 3, 4 was like you had just like the best rappers, like boom. And then you had boxing was like the late 80s, early 90s. You know what I'm saying? Late 80s. Yeah, Tupac's a legend, of course. Like, listen, you can't even deny it. Like, Pac just has such a catalog of just deep music. You know what I mean? But you know, you look at the boxers from the late 80s and the 90s, man, like the early 90s, man. That was one of the dopest heavyweight eras ever, and middleweight ever, man. You know what I'm saying? The mid 90s middleweight era was crazy.
Hell yeah. Like I can.
Featherweight era, man. You had Marco Antonio Barrera, Eric Morales, them type of guys in the early 2000s, late 1990s to early 2000s. Those are the guys that I grew up watching. Them guys were fantastic fighters. And these new guys, you don't have as many. I think you have good fighters now. You just don't have as many. Like, the fighters that are considered good now only considered good because they don't have as much competition.
Now I got in the heated debate.
What was going on back then? I don't know if they would be even considered.
I got in a heated debate, and I was vouching for this era with the welterweights. I was having a heated debate with the welterweights of this era than the past era. You know, the Sugar Ray Leonard, and when the Rebel Duran moved up to fight Sugar Ray Leonard, whatever. And I'm like, this is the golden era. Like, when people, I mean, this. If you look at the welterweight division, you got Earl Spence. He already fought Kell Brook when Kell Brook was one of the top welterweights. You got Keith Thurman Porter. You had Danny Swift Garcia Thurman. You had Porter Thurman. You got Ugas Porter. If you really think about it, these guys are fighting each other. The problem is that you're not fighting the fight that the fans want to see now. But the top welterweights are fighting one another.
But the other problem is, the only debate I can give you there is these guys aren't as good as those guys, in my personal opinion. Like, when you look at the Pernell Whitakers, when you look at the Oscar De La Hoyas, when you look at the Julio Cesar Chavez, the Meldrick Taylors, then you got the Sugar Ray Leonards and the Aaron Pryors and these type of guys, and the Roberto Durans. Like, this is a totally different caliber of fighter. Like, imagine a prime Roberto Duran in Maidana shoes. You know what I'm saying? What he would have did to like an Adrian Broner or one of them guys. You know what I'm saying? You saw the problems he even gave Floyd Mayweather. Imagine Sugar Ray Leonard fighting, I don't know, Danny Garcia. You see what I'm trying to say? Imagine Pernell Whitaker fighting a prime Pernell Whitaker fighting Kell Brook. You dig what I'm saying? Like, these guys were the golden era, man. You're talking about the highest level.
My point. Then you proving my point. The evolution
that it hasn't evolved.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like now they're trying to do. I feel like it evolved in a way where, I don't know how to word this properly. It evolved in a way where it's different, not better. If that makes sense. I feel like fighters fight differently now than they fought before. So my definition of evolving is not the same. Your definition of evolving is improving. I don't know what the correct definition of evolving is, but my definition is different. So when I look at these fighters fight today, they do things a little bit differently, not real different, a little bit different. And I also feel like they do less. I feel like back then they used to do more. They used to use all the tools that boxing taught. They used to pull all the tricks out the hat. Now these guys only pick out a couple of cute things and they stick with what works for them. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think it's the business? Do you think it's the business that make that change their style? That cause okay, some people gonna look at how successful Floyd Mayweather is, and if he's gonna be one of the he is the most lucrative fighter ever, and then you see his style. So his style won him fights and got him the biggest payday. So why do I have to fight like a Toro Gotti if I could fight safe and I could make the most money and trash talk?
Well, this is the problem. These guys aren't Floyd Mayweather. And another thing is Floyd Mayweather used to do. I mean, Floyd Mayweather is cut from the cloth of those guys that I mentioned.
Pretty boy.
He's cut from the Purnells and the Sugar Rays and the Marvin Haglers and the Duran. Trust me when I tell you. When Floyd Mayweather was 17 years old, I seen an interview when he was, or somebody, him talking somewhere. When he was 17 years old, he was beating up Frankie Randall in the gym. And Frankie Randall had just beat Julio Cesar Chavez when Julio Cesar Chavez was 89-0. Floyd was beating him up in the gym at 17 years old. Now, Floyd Mayweather is a special fighter. He does everything fundamentally that you can ask for as a trainer. He uses his jab in his prime. He used his jab. He used his lead right hands, his check hooks. He shoulder roll. He bent the waist. He threw combinations. He had good speed, good power, fantastic footwork. Then you get guys that try to mimic Floyd Mayweather, and they can only do one thing that he does, two things that he does. So now you're limiting yourself because you're trying to be somebody you're not, and then you're not growing to your fullest potential. So the problem with these new guys thinking that they're Floyd is the main thing. You're not Floyd. Floyd was really a bad boy. Like, Floyd was one of the best amateurs. He should have won the gold, right? And then he went ahead and was a damn good professional, and if not one of the best in history, arguably. And it'd be hard to debate that. I mean, a lot of people debate it, and I can understand why. But I mean, he has beat more world champions. He has beat some great fighters, and he's shown all the numbers. And I can understand why somebody may want to mimic him. I mean, you always want to mimic the person who's successful, but you also have to remember what that person did. That guy really put in the work to get there. You can't cheat the grind. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
You can't cheat it. Floyd didn't cheat the grind.
Nah.
I know he flossed his paper and he acts real flamboyant and he can come off as arrogant, but let's be honest, that man put in work, and that man.
That was personality. I think that's what it is with Floyd, his character. Like, let's say I was a big Floyd fan, but I hated that 24/7 when he went after his dad. Like, I'm like, nah, man.
I think that hurt everybody. I think he knows he fucked up.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good now.
No, yeah, they're good now. But for me, at that time, I'm like, nah, that's messed up, bro. Not like that, bro.
We talked about this before. You know what I mean? We talked about this before. Like, what happens with these fighters and these trainers? These fighters forget. And look, even a son forgets where he learned the game from. He forgot for that moment. For that moment in his life, he really thought he did that on his own. Mm-hmm. Well, he did give his Uncle Roger the props in that video, but I think he did that more of spite to piss his dad off.
Yeah.
He knew that's what would trigger his dad. He knew how to stab him. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's a personal thing there. That was way more deep-rooted than boxing. I really believe that he didn't believe that. And he even went ahead and said that his father's the best trainer in a future interview. So I think that he just really just threw a low blow, and it's unfortunate that it happened on national television for us to see. I don't think that we should have been able to witness something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, I think that's going overboard on your marketing. You know what I mean? But Floyd Sr. is a fantastic man. He was a fantastic fighter. I know him personally, and he's just a really genuinely a good person, man. And I hate to see that he had to go through that, but as you can see, he didn't hold it against his son. You know,
that's his son. Yeah, that's his son.
Yeah, he didn't hold it against. So I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, my son, he missed a couple homeworks, virtual school, and I was tight at him. I'm like, yo, why you told me you did this, man? Like, yo. But I was mad. He like that. I'm sorry that I disappointed you. I don't want to disappoint you and stuff like that. Like, but I was mad. I'm like, you know what? Then he'd be like, yo, you want to play video games or something? I got you, man. I can't stay mad at my son for that long. I can't.
That's beautiful, man. I would hate to see relationships ruined over something, that, later on in life you look at it and you're like, damn, man, like I really let that take it that far. Like, you know what I mean? It sucks, man, because that's what happens a lot. It happens with friendships all the time. A lot of the people that I don't cut off or that I don't talk to anymore, when I really think back, like, damn, why did we stop talking? I don't even remember. You know what I mean? That's how little it was, but it was enough for me to cut them off. You know what I mean? And when it happens with family, it's even worse.
How would you feel? How will you feel if you take your fighter to a world champion? He wins the title, and then he want to switch trainers. How would you feel?
If he didn't have a good reason, I'd be devastated most likely. But see, at the same time, I kind of foresee that now. Like, it's happened to me at a very small scale early in my boxing. I've had a few really talented kids who trainers have stole from me when I first started coaching. I've had to get stolen from me, and then those kids try to come back.
You took them back?
You know what I did? I ain't gonna lie, I did.
Okay, all right. You don't hold grudges.
It's hard for me to say no, right? But now I will always go into that situation with that as an expectation. So depending on what our agreement is, that would probably be something that we would have to square away from the beginning. So then later
contractual wise.
Yeah, so then later on, if you do decide to make that decision, there's some kind of a penalty that you're going to have to deal with on your end also. So for me, it's business now. So if we're going to go ahead and move forward, I'm going to figure out a way to protect myself, only because I know that that's how boxing works. You know what I mean? It happens all the time.
Yeah, man. I would hate to see that. Like I said,
it's really part of the game. And look, I don't have a problem. Look, one thing as a trainer, you don't want that fighter with you if he don't want to be with you. It's like a woman, right? If my lady came to me and expressed to me like, yo, I don't want to be with you no more, I'm not attracted to you, like, what am I going to do? Like, no, you gotta like me, you gotta love me, like, yo, like, if you really genuinely ain't feeling me no more, like, then keep it moving, because I don't want you here if you don't want to be here. But at the same time, why? What's the reason? So if a fighter decides to do that to me, I need to at least have some closure. Like, why? What did I do? I brought you to a world title when we won. What's the problem? So as long as we have a conversation about it, we might be able to work it out without hating each other.
Why, man? Why?
Yeah.
You remember that hookup? You knocked that dude out with that hook. You knocked that dude out with that hook, and now you
go. Yo, boxing crazy, man. That's how it's so crazy in boxing, right? Let's say you a trainer, right? I'm gonna give you some backstage boxing, which I'm pretty sure you know.
But hey, that's what you here for, man. You got to give us everything, man. No sugarcoat, nothing.
So you my fighter, right? You my fighter, Moonshine. Yo, it's my fighter, Moonshine, right? No, matter of fact, you come in with your trainer. You and your trainer come walking through the door, and you Moonshine with your trainer. But then you see me, yo, coach, hey, yo, I saw your YouTube was good, and I dap you up, and yo, we do some mitts, and yo, your trainer gonna be like, what that about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Trainers be getting jealous, almost like if a man's hollering at me. Like, and it'd be like, yo, bro, chill. Like, I'm just like kicking it with your fighter for a second. Like, I don't want to train him. I'm not trying to steal him from you. Like, I'm busy, man. Like, I don't got time for him. Just like, you don't want
that sounds funny. That's like I picture it.
Like, it be to the point where trainers don't even want to look at other fighters' fighter. Like, you be like, yo, you see homie fighter, you be like, who? And be looking like, yeah, because they don't want the trainer to think like, yo, he's trying to steal the fighter. Like, yo, it's crazy out here. So you gotta be real careful as a trainer, like giving advice. Like, if you see a fighter and you take the young boy to the side, like, yo, man, I saw this and this and this that you could do. And then the trainer gonna be like, yo, what he told you? Oh, he said I should do this. Yo, listen, don't trust him, man. Don't talk to him. He's a snake. Meanwhile, that's not even true. Dude, generally trying to give your fighter some advice. You know what I'm saying? So, but the thing is, you do got some snakes out there, and that's what messes up the game. You know what I mean? The bad apples, right? Like some bad cops out there. It's always the bad apples that ruin it for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, because it does happen in boxing. It's sad to see that you got these young fighters and then you got these trainers. It's almost like, put it this way, let's talk Calvin, right? Calvin Ford, Javante Tank Davis trainer, right? He got him. He got him when he was young. Then he worked one fight when Calvin wasn't in the corner.
Right.
Like it looked like, Story was saying that, Mayweather Promotions, they wanted him, they wanted Gervonta Tank Davis with another trainer or whatever, right? I think that's when they got a little fickle, the relationship, and then he went back to Calvin. Calvin, you can see it on interviews. I taught him everything he knows, I taught him everything he knows. But that was sad to see that. Why would you want to break something that is not broken? Why would you want to get in the middle of that?
There's only one thing, right? Only one thing.
Money.
That's the only thing it could be. You know what I mean? And I'm glad to see that it didn't get broken. You know what I mean? I think if Calvin had Gervonta all that time, he did a phenomenal job with Gervonta Davis. Phenomenal. And he deserves to be in that corner every step of the way. So that's my personal opinion on Calvin Ford. I hope that Gervonta Davis can see through the smoke. You know what I mean? He stays loyal to, the guy who got him to where he is. I mean, he's a millionaire because of a good coach. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like, hey, man, you got to give credit where it's due. And I just think that that's a lost art out here, man. A lot of people don't want to give credit to where it's due. A lot of people don't want to, show love to the people who schooled them. And it ain't that hard, man. You know what I'm saying? To just be a straight up person with integrity, man. It really isn't. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to always try to, look for something better. Sometimes what you got is the better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now let me know if I'm harsh, because I could be. I feel like I could be harsh, right? Let me know if I'm harsh. We talk about trainers, right? I'm one of those guys that be like, when they be like, "Yo, Freddie Roach is probably one of the best." Like when we talk about trainers, he's probably the best trainer out there. I'll be like, "What fighter did he build from scratch?" So people be like, "Well, Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao was a champion when he got him." So I feel like I look up to fighters. I look up to the trainers, really. I look up to all the trainers, but I'm saying the trainers that build fighters, like from scratch. You see, that's why I like Freddie Roach with Elvis Rodriguez right now, because he's building this fighter as a professional. It's not like Elvis Rodriguez won the chip. It's not like Freddie Roach when he worked with Oscar De La Hoya. Freddie Roach with Mike Tyson. They already was built. Would you? What's the? I want to see Coach Anthony build that fighter. Who's that fighter that's coming under your wing that we got to look forward to?
Oh man, that's too hard for me to answer right now, because
Come on, coach.
What it comes down to is time, sacrifice, and finances. Really, at the end of the day, like when you think about building a fighter, right, from scratch, what's your definition of scratch? Not knowing how to throw a jab?
That's way,
That's scratch. To me, to scratch is you don't even know the boxing stance. That's scratch.
What scratch is once you're fighting your first couple of fights in the amateurs. Because look, from scratch, I told my father, I see this guy in school bullying a lot of people. And I told straight to my dad, I'm like, and my father knows karate or whatever. I'm like, can you teach me some certain moves to defend myself?
Right.
Because I know this dude, he's bullying my crew, and I know he probably going, I'm seeing how he's doing it. He's bullying. I don't want to be the next one, right? So I told my dad. So he showed me, the 1-2, and then block, all that. So I'm not gonna say that my dad taught me from scratch if I became a professional just because he taught me the 1-2. But really, I mean, like from scratch is okay. You're already in the gym, and now you're about to, this kid is trying to be an amateur. He's taking it serious, and now you molding him as to be not just coaching him just for fitness.
Yeah, I mean, I have a few kids that I got the opportunity to do that with now. They're all, anywhere from the age of 14 to 18 years old. But it really just, like I said, comes down to time, schedule, everything else. Like, you really have to dedicate yourself to that person for the rest of your life, basically. Like, if I get a kid right now, 14 years old, and I build him to a world championship by the time he's 26, that means for the next 12 years, I got to be with him.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. I can't move. I got to be there. He can't move. Everything's got to fall in place.
Mm-hmm.
These are the things that make it difficult for a guy to build a fighter because life happens. So then what ends up happening is a lot of these trainers who already get themselves to a certain point, they're like, dude, I don't got time to do that. I got to get to the bag, right? So they start training the big name guys who are going to, and then what ends up happening, you train one big name, the next big name comes to you, and it gives you no time to focus on the little guys. And that's the unfortunate part for a big name trainer. Even if you want to train a guy, you might not have the time because it's time is money and you got to follow what's feeding your family. And I just think that's the difficult part for a big name trainer, to make that balance. And if you do decide to sacrifice for a young fighter, a lot of times it'd be their sons. A lot of times it'd be like somebody who they live with or something. So then it's a lot easier. It's easier for a father to train a fucking kid who they live with, you know what I mean, and build them up, or like a kid that you brought into your life like a kid, and now you're raising them like a custom model with Mike Tyson. He basically moved them in and raised them up, and he basically became a father to that kid.
Yeah.
That's how deep it is. In order for you to do that as a trainer, you got to be willing to do that as a trainer too. And I just think that's why for me it's difficult, because I haven't found that in me yet, to sacrifice all of me to one particular person yet. So until I find that right person in that right situation, I don't know if that's gonna happen. You know what I mean? We'll see.
So you like, thank you. So you like so you just like working with just different type of talents, different type of
Well, I mean,
walks of life. Because I see you in the midst working with the young lady. The young lady, how old is she? She was like you put on the title. Was she 50 years old or
60,
60, right? Hey, she still got time, bro. I see it.
No. She's very talented and she sticks with it. But yes, I enjoy working with all types of people. I love working with beginners. I love when I really enjoy the process of teaching a fighter from the ground up. And like I said, my definition of the ground up is you didn't know how to throw a jab, and now I'm taking you to national championships, which I've done before. And I like that. You know what I mean? And then everything after that becomes consistency, sticking with it, keeping it going, sacrificing, being there for the fighter, going to the tournaments, doing all the things that it takes. It's not just training. So, for me, not that I won't do it. It's just everything has to be right, like for me to be able to do that. You know what I mean? I don't want to lead a fighter the wrong way and say, yo, I'm going to do that. And then when it's time, I can't do it. You know what I mean? So it's tough, man. It's tough. Trust me, being a trainer and being the trainer you want to be is tough, because the training business is a difficult business. Is a hard way to make an easy buck.
That's what I was going to head to that part. It's prize fighting. At the end of the day, it's prize fighting.
A hard way to make an easy buck.
Everybody's seeking for the purse. You tell me. I mean, everybody. Every situation is different. Some guys are elite. Some guys, it's has to do with the purse. What's the average? What's the average purse for a trainer? Head trainer. What's the average purse? Or a percentage? 10%. Look at that look. Look at that look. Look at that look.
I mean, it's 10%. So I mean, if your fighter's fighting for $10,000, what's 10% of that?
Damn.
And then think about that. So you're getting 10% of $10,000, and how long did it take you to get them prepared for that fight? 4 weeks, 6 weeks. Let's just say 4 weeks. It's only 4 weeks. Okay, so I trained this guy 3 hours a day, right? Or 2 hours a day. We travel for sparring, and I got $1,000 for it. And then you got some trainers who had their kids from the amateurs, who they love their fighters, and they go, keep that money. I don't even want it. When you start fighting for 50,000, 100,000, then I'll take my 10%.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So now it's like, when it comes to, that's what I'm saying. To be a good trainer in the sport of boxing, you can't do it for the money. You can't do it for the money. If you're in this game for the money, forget about it. I'm telling y'all right now, all up-and-coming trainers, even up-and-coming pro boxers, if you're doing this for the money, I'm telling you right now, forget about it. But if you're doing this for the love and you love it, then go for it, and then eventually the money will come. But you got to be patient. It's a very, very patient. You have to be patient.
So you can't be money driven in this business then.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Exactly. When you got coaches who are money driven, you know what they do? They accept fights that they know their fighter can't win, and then they just get the fighter get knocked out and get their check. See what I'm saying? You knew your fighter wasn't going to win that, but you want your 10%. See what I'm saying? Well, that's when you're money driven. When you're driven by the passion, the love, the sport, you want to win. Nah, my guy ain't fighting him. Not for that. Nah, we in the gym, we work and we training. You know what I'm saying? And that's when you know you got a good coach in your corner, somebody who cares about you outside of the ring, somebody who's not doing it for the money. If you're doing it for the money, it's not going to work. That's why I'm a big person who I'm trying to create a platform for myself where when I do coach fighters, it's not for the money. But, of course, I want to get paid.
Yeah.
But it's not for the money. I'm not doing it just for the money. I'm doing it for the success of the fighter. And when money comes, hey, man, I'm more than happy for it. But if I'm relying on the money, it's too difficult, you know.
Now, the last time we spoke, I was asking you about who runs the camp, the fighter or the trainer. Now, I'm gonna give you this, and I want you to piggyback on that one because I feel like you can add to that. I'm gonna give you an example with the Deontay Wilder. So Deontay Wilder says that he told his trainer never to throw in the towel. Now, your job as a trainer is also to protect the fighter. If a fighter tells you never throw in the towel. I don't care where I'm at in the ring. I don't care how baddie it looks. Don't ever throw in the towel. Would you listen to your fighter?
Hell no. Hell no. I'll look at my fighter like he's stupid. I'll be like, yeah, okay. I mean, I would be like, if you think that's gonna happen, then you might as well find another trainer right now.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. I'm not going to live good with another man's blood in my hands. You see what I'm saying? So what I got to make sure is the safety of the fighter comes first at all times. You know what I'm saying? At all times. And if I see something wrong, I might not even let you out for the next round. You know what I'm saying? You might just have to sit you down right there. So, you know, if I don't think you're ready for the fight, you're not fighting. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
You know, I just think that the fighters need to let the trainers do their job and stop trying to be coaches. Be a fighter and let a coach coach. And if you don't think your coach is capable, then find a different coach. It's very simple, man. It's very simple. If you don't think your coach is capable, get rid of your coach, get a different coach. You know what I mean?
But there is selfish trainers as well. Like, you know, even they have pride, but they looking at that paycheck like, you know what?
That goes back to my point. Just like when you was right about your point, right? Is if you're doing this for the money, then you're in the wrong game. Because if you're making decisions on a fighter's life based off a paycheck, for one, you might get that check. But you ain't getting many more checks after that. Ain't too many people going to bang with you after that. They're going to be like, yo, did you see what he did? Did you see the punishment he allowed his fighter to take? Did you see how he went in there outgunned and out prepared?
Yeah.
Did you see that? Did you hear the instructions he was giving him in the corner? That guy's a fucking idiot. That's what's going to happen. So you're done. So, you know, for me, it's not, you got to be in this for the real. You got to really be in this, man. Like, this is like, you can't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Those guys are short lived, man.
So you could say like a guy like Mark Breland, you think he's all right that Deontay Wilder dismissed him as a trainer and got a new trainer.
Did he dismiss him permanently?
Yeah, he's not training him no more.
Yeah, I just think that was a foul move on Deontay Wilder's part because he fired him because he wanted the safety for him. So if that's the case, I didn't even know that. I'm learning this right now, hearing this from you. So I'm trusting.
Yeah. So first, okay. So let's because Deontay Wilder haven't spoke, but this is the story that's out. So I'm gonna say so. Allegedly, there's a story that he's been fired. Allegedly, there's a story that they parted ways. I've let's say I did a video about it that they parted ways because if it's not fired, I mean I could easily be like he fired him, but there's one source that said they parted ways. There's one other one that they fired. Now, I'm gonna go with the party ways. I feel like they said it was mutual agreement, this source said. But I would think so because I feel like Mark Breland, in my opinion, was the last man to go. If anybody gonna go from the outside looking in, he's the one that has the most credentials. He's the one that had an amateur background. He was the one that was a professional fighter. If you see Mark Breland's style of fighting, you look at the 1-2 punch back in the 80s, Mark Breland had that shit down pat. So you see where Deontay Wilder got that 1-2 really from. So he's more molded by Mark of Mark Breland than anybody else. Yet Deontay Wilder gets critiqued that his technique is whatever, is below average. Let's say that. But I would think that Mark Breland would be the last one to go. So everybody looking at it, he threw in the towel. Deontay Wilder said never to throw in the towel, that he don't trust him. He didn't have confidence in him when. I think that was a little low blow, in my opinion.
Think about it, man. If Deontay Wilder watched that fight again and still didn't see that the fight should have been stopped, I mean, he's got an issue within himself he needs to deal with, and it's called, the E word, ego. You know what I'm saying? And for me, it's like you can't. I mean, I can't see how in hell can you be upset that a man try to save your life. Like, I mean, that's just weird to me. Like, I can understand if the training wasn't right. I can understand if he was being unresponsible, not showing up to training sessions. I can understand if he was giving bad information in the corner. Those are all things that I can understand. But when you sit there and you tell me, oh, man, he tried to save my life. I mean, that's really what you're telling me when you say, yo, I'm pissed off that he threw in the towel. So you're mad that he threw in the towel when you was getting, beat down? Like, you were getting beat down that whole fight. Let's just be real. Like,
he still says something like, he should know what I possess. That I could end the fight with one punch.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. But at what cost? At what cost? You can make $1 million right now robbing a bank, but at what cost?
So you would have thrown in the towel too?
Yeah, if I felt my fighter wasn't being responsive and I felt like his life was on the line, yeah, without hesitation. Now look, he's fighting again and he's getting the bag again. So what are you mad about? You're getting paid again. You know what I'm saying? You're fighting him for the third time. No, it's the second or third time.
Third trilogy.
You're fighting for the third time, so you're getting a third fight out of the deal. You're making a bunch of money again, and you're getting a chance to prove yourself again. When in the last turn, you didn't prove yourself. So now you're proving yourself. And say, but what are you mad about? You could have died in the last fight and there would be no third fight. But the fact that he stopped it gives you another opportunity to fight again. And if you lose this one and you getting beat up on again and they stop it again, guess what? You get a chance to fight again. But if they don't stop it and you get killed in that ring, career's over. He got kids? Deontay Wilder got kids?
He got a bunch of
kids, brother. Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you thinking like that? There's nothing wrong with having a heart. But come on, man. Let the corner do their job.
So you as a trainer, I'll ask you a question. I don't want to stay too much on the Deontay Wilder, but you're a trainer, so I got to ask you. A lot of people feel like his tools is below average, where it's supposed to be. You as a trainer, what do you see? And if you was on his corner, how would you implement some training of yours to Deontay Wilder? What do you feel?
When you talk about skills, it's weird. I mean, look, the man's a world champion. Was a world champion. Knocking out people left and right. Knocking out quality guys next and right. So I can't sit here and judge a man who has accomplished that much in the sport. He also was an Olympian, right? But with all of that being said, his technique and his form when he throws his punches is average at best. But his power is extremely excellent. So, and that's how it goes with some fighters. Remember Ricardo Mayorga?
Oh, yeah.
He beat Vernon Forrest twice, my man.
Shout for Mayorga.
He beat Vernon Forrest twice. I had the privilege to train next to Vernon Forrest in Florida at the Spartan Gym. That's where I used to train out of when I was an amateur boxer, and got a chance to see this man spar, train, I seen him when he beat Sugar Shane Mosley twice. Like, Vernon Forrest was a fantastic boxer. And then you get a guy like Ricardo Mayorga, who basically taunts him, knocks him out, and then rematches him and beats him again. So what are you telling me? Ricardo Mayorga can't fight? He just beat one of the best boxers in the middleweight division. You know, God rest the dead. And he beat him, and he beat him clearly twice. Oh, because he doesn't do it the way we want him to do it. He doesn't do it the way we want him to do it. Listen, fighting is fighting at the end of the day. If it's getting the job done, it's getting the job done. But let's not ignore that Deontay Wilder has poor technique, right? And he has poor form and technique, which can make a person say he's below average. He throws looping punches when he shouldn't. He's a bit wide, but he got a monstrous right hand. And if that thing lands, it's lights out, man. And there's no doubt about it. He's proven that. So will I say that he's a below average boxer? Hell no. He's not a below average boxer, but he has below average form and technique. There's more to boxing than skills. There's heart, there's conditioning, there's chin, there's all these other variables. There's natural athleticism, power. So if you're basing it just on skill and form and technique, but everything else lacks, is that a good boxer? Right? If you get a guy who's super slick, can do it all, but he ain't got no heart, he can't take a punch, is that a good boxer?
Amir Khan?
Right? Yeah. I mean, Amir Khan's a good boxer. That was a low blow. Amir Khan.
No.
You get what I'm trying to say.
I'm talking about
the guy has everything that we think is beautiful in a fighter, but he can't take a punch. He got no heart. He got no discipline. He ain't willing to go into deep waters. Is that a good boxer? But then you get a guy like Deontay Wilder who doesn't have good form and technique. He's a bit sloppy, but has heart, has courage, willing to fight anybody, has a monstrous right hand. You know what I'm saying? You got to give a guy who's got more of the good qualities than the bad qualities some credit. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, look, I'm one of those guys that, trust me, I'm cool with Deontay Wilder. Like, we could go by the technique, but everything that you just said is what people don't want to talk about. But you got to give it up to him.
You got to. If a boxer has 10 criterias and 8 of them are good, you got a hell of a good boxer. That was horrible. There you go. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. If 8 of them are good.
Damn, what kind of wine you drinking?
I don't know what I'm doing. If 8 of them are good, if 8 stars out of 10 is good, it's good. If you're about to buy something off Amazon and they got 8 out of 10 stars or 4 out of 5 stars, you're like, you know what? It's pretty good. I might buy it. But just because a guy got 1 star and the 1 star is beautiful punches, but everything else is trash, that guy is trash still. I don't care how beautiful his punches are.
Yo, it's because boxing fans are the most delusional fans, bro. It's the most delusional fan, the most unhappiest fans. Because think about it, yo. We went in the era where, like, for example, remember when Tyson Fury beat Klitschko? Oh, man, Tyson Fury is boring. He's boring. We were looking for that heavyweight that was knocking everybody out, right? Damn, we need that heavyweight. We want to know who's going to be the next Mike Tyson. Here comes Deontay Wilder knocking everybody out. Anthony Joshua knocking everybody out. Then it comes with but he can't do this and he can't do that. But yo, y'all was just saying that this heavyweight was mad boring. Like, what do you want? Do you want the knockout artist? Do you want the technique? Do you want to see a 6'9" dude just floating around, flowing like a butterfly, stinging like a bee? Or every fighter is different, and we all should just appreciate what everybody else brings to the table. It's like a buffet. I don't want Deontay Wilder to beat Tyson Fury. I don't want Tyson Fury to be Deontay Wilder. I want Anthony Joshua to be himself. I want Earl Spence to be himself. I want Crawford to be himself. Now, all these fighters, that's what's good about boxing. Is one that they try to analyze this like everybody should be the same. Everybody should have this technique. Then we won't know who's special.
Exactly. So a lot of guys need to get credit for what their natural attributes are in it. And for Deontay Wilder, it's extremely good power. And it's heart and will, and it's just those things deserve credit, man. Because there's a lot of good boxers who never made it because they didn't have those other qualities. You know what I'm saying? So we need to keep that in mind too. I tell people all the time, I'm in the Philadelphia area. There's so many fighters out here you never heard of that could fight, but guess what? It's because they didn't have everything else. They could fight, but they couldn't wake up in the morning and go on that run. They couldn't stay out the streets. They couldn't stray out the nightclubs. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't do the things that boxing requires of a fighter, and that's a skill also. And we need to also give these guys credit for that. So, you know, while a lot of guys are at the club, these fighters have to go to sleep early. You know what I'm saying? These fighters can do the things that other people could do if they want to be successful. It's kind of like a kid who goes to college for 8-9 years and then becomes a doctor. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing for boxing.
How would you, if you got your own, you're the head coach of your training camp, how would you run your training camp?
How would I run it? Give me your.
Well, there's that, like, say there's other boxes that they bring in more people in. There's other trainers. My fault. The other trainers that bring other people in. There's trainers that they are the nutritionist. They want to be the manager. They want to foresee everything. You know, what type of trainer? If you're running the training camp, not part of a training camp. You're running it. What is your rules? What is Coach Anthony's rules?
Rules. Now, rules as far as like nutritionist, manager, and all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna handle whatever I know I can handle. Whatever I know I can't handle, I'm not gonna handle. So if I decide to manage a fighter, it's because I've done the research. I've decided that this is a job that I want to take on, and I'm gonna add this to the resume, whether it's my first fighter that I manage or my 20th fighter. You know what I'm saying? So I'm only gonna handle what I know I can handle. My whole life, I've done a good job at doing whatever I'm good at and sticking with that. And whenever I learn something new, I make sure I learn it very well before I go ahead and try to jump into that. So that's kind of person I am. So I'm not going to do anything I don't think I can do. So I want the best for my fighter. I want a fighter when they come to me to say, you know, since I started working with Coach Anthony, man, everything is going in the direction I wanted to go in. So if that means I got to bring in a manager, if that means I got to bring in an extra coach or an extra set of eyes, if that means I got to bring in a nutritionist, a strength and conditioning trainer, somebody to help me in the areas that I don't have either time or I don't have expertise in, I have no problem doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Would family be involved, girlfriends and stuff like that? How would you run a training camp?
Would I allow them to bring their families involved?
Yeah. No, I mean, like, you know, like there's times where there's fighters that's it. They don't see their family for the whole camp.
Or the athlete that I'm working with. So like I told you before, it's a very case by case situation. So I wouldn't have a one size fits all playbook. What I would do is get to know my fighter. You know, I learned this by watching something on Custom Model. What he would do is he would get to know his fighters before he trains them. And that's the one thing I got from listening to one of his things where he was talking. And it's like, you get a chance to learn who your fighters are over an extended period of time. And if I see how you operate with your girlfriend around, let's say you bring your girlfriend to the gym a couple of times, let's just say, and when you come, you're not training the same. You're less motivated. You're distracted. I'm going to basically pull you to the side and say, yo, my man, check this out. When you're in the gym, leave your shorty at home. You can't concentrate when she's here, brother. You're not performing the same. Now, if his girlfriend is a very supportive girlfriend, she's very serious about his career the same way he is, they take everything very serious, there may be a situation where I might allow it because I might say, you know what, she's a benefit to him here in the gym. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's a case-by-case situation.
Oh, so you're not a strict, man. You're not strict. You're easygoing, man.
I'm more so like making adaptations, just like a fighter has to adapt in the ring. Imagine if a fighter says, I'm just an aggressive fighter and I'm never going to go defensive, or I'm a Philly shell fighter and I'm never gonna go aggressive. Like,
you won't allow that.
We got to make adjustments. We got to make adjustments, and we got to make them quick. So it's my job to see it and act on it.
Let me answer this question. Yeah, Rap Dog, man. Yo, leave the questions, and I'll ask so he can answer. What's good, Terrence? What's good, everybody in the comment box, checking everybody out, man. Yeah, ask the questions. Yeah, man. It seems like training, man. The boxing training is kind of hard, man. It's kind of hard. Too much. It's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of sacrifice.
It's hard because when a trainer has to sacrifice for somebody else, you're going basically your life is to make another person's life better.
Yeah,
I mean, so you have to make sure you're in a position where you could do that. You know what I mean?
I feel you, man. I feel you.
If your life ain't going good, how you gonna help somebody else? It's like a poor person trying to help a poor person. Like let me come up. When I come up, I got you. Let me help you. But if I keep getting pulled down when I'm down, so I can't help you. So it's like, I think a trainer needs to make sure he's ready for the job. The biggest thing a person can figure out here, if you're going to be a trainer, you got to be ready for the job. So it's a big responsibility on our behalf to know that we can handle the job if we say yes to the fighter. We can't be selfish and say, I just want to have fighters, but you're not doing the fighter benefit. You have to say, I'm ready for this fighter. I'm going to develop this fighter. I'm going to give this fighter my all. And then if a trainer can be honest with himself like that, then he could be a good trainer to the fighter. If not, he's going to hurt the fighter.
Do you network, or do you or you just expect the fighters to come to you and know you? Or do you network out there? Like when there's fights, do you go to fights? Because how would somebody, if you ain't have no YouTube channel, but you got a great boxing mind, how would somebody find you? Like, how would you? Because there might be people that's looking at Coach Anthony, but there's some people that just don't know how to approach people. Like, he seemed cool, but I ain't going to approach him and stuff like that. I don't know what type. If somebody's looking right now and they want to approach you, like on something, and they're professional, I'm talking, it could be a professional fighter. Like, are you an approachable person, right?
I am an approachable person. I think before, I was I owned a boxing gym that was ran more like a business for 10 years. So I used to run like fitness classes and stuff like that. So I wasn't as open to just work with anybody because I was very busy. But now, my perspective and my situation is a little different. I would love to, when this whole thing is over, hopefully it does actually end. My goal would be to have a nice professional and amateur stable of quality fighters and really showcase what I could bring to the table as a coach, and also develop some, really good professionals. So I'm not sure how I would market that. I'm pretty sure I would be able to though. But yeah, I'm definitely interested. And now at this stage of my life, I'm getting to a point now where I'm ready to showcase that at a high level. From amateurs to professionals. I think it's my turn now to show the world what I could bring. And I've been a second and third. I've been a coach who has always been part of a team, not a coach who had my own professional who I can say, this is Coach Anthony. I've always been part of successful teams, but now I'm ready to go ahead and branch off on my own and let people know that I can handle the job. So hopefully it happens, and it happens soon.
You hear that? You hear that, ladies and gentlemen? He's ready. All right.
Yeah, 100%.
He's a free agent. He's a free agent, but working with other people. Put it that way, man. He's a free agent.
I'm definitely ready for that. I've had more than enough time to, practice my craft and work with quality guys that I could definitely bring a lot to a up and coming professional. Or
let me see some questions here. Coach Anthony, you thought Canelo did enough to beat Triple G the first fight. What made you lean towards Canelo?
Wow, okay, that guy really follows me. It's very weird because my view on the fight was different than a lot of people, and for both fights actually, because the second fight, a lot of people thought Canelo won, and I actually had that a draw. I actually had the second fight a draw, and I had the first fight leaning toward Canelo. I thought that Canelo landed the better, cleaner punches in the first fight. I thought that he did the better boxing in the first fight. I know that maybe didn't throw as many punches, but I thought the punches that he landed in the rounds that he won added up. I scored the fight. I was at the fight when it happened. I scored it, and I kid you not, Moonshine, on everything I love. At the end of the fight, because I seen how everybody was acting around, I scored it. I sat there with pen and paper. I said, I got Canelo winning. If I'm not mistaken, I had him winning like 116, 112, or 115, 113, somewhere around that.
No.
I said, I got Canelo winning. So if I hear robbery from any of y'all, they were like, man, you crazy. When they said Canelo won, I looked at everybody. They looked at me like, yo. I posted it on Instagram. I had hundreds of people comment. You want to call yourself a coach? Yo, you don't know what the hell you talking about. Yo, I scored it at the fight, and the judges saw it the same way I saw it. Then the second fight, I actually had Canelo winning early, and I had Triple G coming back. And I ended up, when I came to the conclusion, I had a draw. And I believe that they had Canelo winning that fight, right? Canelo won the second fight.
Yeah.
The fight was very close. I thought it was a draw in the second one. I thought he faded.
And you mean that you thought the draw was in the first fight, the second fight Canelo won, or you got Canelo winning both of them?
I had Canelo winning the first fight, even though people thought he lost it. And I had Canelo in a draw in the second fight, even though people thought Canelo won that one better than the first one. My view was different than people. I also only watched the fight one time each fight. So I watched the Canelo fight when it happened live, and then I went to the second Canelo fight and I watched that live. So, but for the most part, I thought Canelo won. To answer this man's question, is I thought he landed the better punches. I thought he had the better. I thought he did the better stuff in the fight, to be plain and simple. I thought the Triple G was throwing, but I don't think he was being as effective as Canelo was.
Again, y'all want to ask question? Leave your question in the comment box. In my opinion on that one, I love what Canelo did the first fight. You know why? Because I feel like that the first fight is when I saw him grow, elusive. He was on the outside. Yo, it was like a changed Canelo. He impressed me. I already know that the Canelo of the second fight, I know that Canelo. But the Canelo in the first fight, you was like, okay, he learned something from that Mayweather fight. The way he's moving, the way he was just boxing. A lot of people ain't like that because they didn't expect that from Canelo. But I did, because
I was so surprised by how many people felt that he didn't win the fight at the moment. Like I said, I only watched it once. I might have to go back and look at that again.
I had Canelo winning both fights.
You had Canelo winning both fights. It's not a bad thing. The second fight I had it a draw, but you could sway around the two either way. You know what I'm saying? But the first fight, I really thought he did better than he did in the second fight, and it's crazy to me because I was wondering. I mean, there was a few that agreed with me, like a few of the Mayweathers I spoke to agreed with me. When I spoke to Jeff, when I spoke to Floyd Sr. and all, I spoke to them personally. They were like, "Yo, man, most people don't know shit about boxing." And I'm telling you, I heard this from the Mayweathers. I spoke to them. I spoke to a few other people, and they were like, yo, Canelo won that fight. Some real decent names, good trainers said Canelo won that fight. So I knew I wasn't completely bugging, but I'm telling you, I had the scorecards in my hand. I told the people next to me. They looked at me like, you out of your damn mind. And guess what? I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it went, man.
I see the first fight was a little bit closer. I could have seen it as a draw, but I had Canelo winning the second fight.
It was a very weird fight because Canelo did the better stuff, but Triple G kept the pressure on. So it's one of those fights that is like, whatever you like is what you're going to go for. And also, whoever you like is who you're going to go for. That was a fight based off of emotion and favoritism. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people and when I say favoritism, I don't mean just the actual fighter. I mean the style of the fighter. Some people just like the aggressive fighter. Some people just like the clean boxer. Me, I'm more of a clean boxing fan. You know what I mean? I mean, don't get me wrong. I like aggressive fighters when they're good at it. I feel like Triple G, no disrespect to Triple G, but I just feel like if he didn't have the power he had, he wouldn't be as impressive as everybody makes him out to be. I just think Canelo's a far more impressive fighter.
Yo, let me get you right here. Hold on. Coach Anthony, do you see any way that Leo Santa Cruz has a chance against Tank? Everyone seems to think it will be one-sided beatdown where Leo Santa Cruz ending up on his back.
You know, I haven't seen a lot of Leo Santa Cruz, but I know he throws a lot of punches. I know that he throws a lot of punches. I also know he's a little bit smaller than Gervonta Davis. We've seen Gervonta Davis have issues in the past with weight, and we've also seen him have issues with Gamboa. You know what I'm saying? In the fight where I was very surprised he had issues with Gamboa. But, I mean, this is one of those fights where Leo Santa Cruz can either be his best friend or his worst enemy. You know, opening up a lot on a guy like Tank could be a kryptonite. You know, you go out there, you're throwing a lot of punches, and you get knocked the hell out. But at the same token, if you can get Tank out of his game plan and you can go ahead and keep them punches going and he doesn't get off, you got yourself a win. So it was a very interesting fight, to say the least. I wouldn't completely count him out whatsoever. I haven't seen enough of him to pick him either. But I'm going to go ahead and say it's an interesting fight, and don't be surprised whoever wins. But, you know, if I had to put money on it, I'm probably going to go with the guy who I'm more familiar with, which is Tank. You know what I mean? But that's not saying that Leo doesn't have a chance.
Yeah, I got Tank big. I got Tank winning that fight. I just don't think that Leo Santa Cruz got enough to keep Tank off of him. Everybody's talking about this. Is what it is. Everybody's talking about Tank's weight, Tank's mental fortitude, if he's focused enough. But nobody really goes after his technique. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's a good fighter. I don't have no critique of him technically wise. I think anything that any time people want to criticize him is what he does outside of boxing ring. That's what it is.
I think Tank is a phenomenal fighter. I was surprised on his performance with Gervonta Davis. If I had to be the devil's advocate and say anything about Tank, is just that, you know, with an older fighter with an injury in the fight, I was surprised that he couldn't do a little bit more. But other than that, you know, Tank has done nothing but impress us, you know what I mean, with all his victories and the way he's won. But, you know, I like to see him step up in competition. You know, I think it's time for him to step up in competition, and let's see if, you know, you can do it against the bigger dogs in the division. You know what I mean? And I just think that Tank has to show that now. And I don't know if Leo Santa Cruz is that guy, but we'll find out, you know.
Now, of course, we got a big fight coming on the weekend. We got Teofimo Lopez, Vasyl Lomachenko.
Major.
And before that fight was about to be announced, like last year, let's say last year, Andre Ward was like, he should take a couple of more fights. Bradley said he should take a couple of more fights. You as a trainer, do you think Teofimo Lopez is ready for this fight?
I mean, I don't know, man, because I guess, listen, Teofimo Lopez got some nice stuff on him. He got some beautiful tools. I watched him fight a couple of times. I seen what he could do. You know what I mean? He's a big kid for his weight. How much bigger is he than Loma?
Height or height? I think like 1.5 inches, probably.
Okay, so he seems like he's pretty big for that. That's not a big difference there, but you know, Teofimo's a big puncher. Got beautiful technique. He got good fundamentals. But Lomachenko is a proven fighter. Lomachenko's a proven fighter. He's a guy who has fought great fights already. He beat Olympians already. He has a phenomenal background in the amateur. And I just think that when you're fighting a guy with that kind of pedigree, you know, I would want as much experience as I possibly can get before I fight a guy like that. Now, at the end of the day, if you believe in yourself and you know what you got, go for it, brother. Can't be mad at you.
You mean he's a proven fighter, or he's just a more proven fighter? You don't think Teofimo Lopez is a proven fighter?
I think Teofimo, yes, like at that level, I don't think he's a proven fighter yet.
As an elite fighter.
Yeah, elite level, I think that this is the proven fight for him now. I think he chose a hard fight to prove himself.
Okay. All right. Because I was talking about that yesterday, and I said that there's certain fighter that's a proven fighter. I said Teofimo Lopez is a proven fighter once he beat Richard Comey, a champion. Because we was discussing what makes you a proven fighter. Like if you a champion, you're still not proven, so that's devaluing the belt. Then what makes you what makes a proven fighter? You got to beat another elite fighter. Because let's say, all right, he beat Richard Comey. He was top 5. He was a champion. So
I think there's levels. To answer your questions, there are levels. So yes, he's a damn good fighter. But now we're talking about Lomachenko. See what I'm saying? And this is the fight where I feel like Lomachenko has fought guys that were better than the guys who Teofimo has fought. And he's been doing it for damn near his whole career. He walked into the gate fighting Salido, who was a freaking dog. Okay. He came out of the amateurs with 300 plus fights. He came into the game already fighting the best, and he's been doing that damn near every fight since he became a pro. So he is a proven fighter, fighting multiple elite fighters back to back and dominating them. Now you got a guy like Teofimo Lopez who has a good name on his record, and he did beat him, but who else did he beat? That's at the level of the guys that Lomachenko has beat. So with that being said, I just think that we're at this new level now. And at this level, Lomachenko has proved it. At this level, this will be the fight that defines. Now, let's just say Teofimo falls short and he loses. But if he puts up a damn good fight, let's just say if he loses a very competitive fight, then you're at this level also. Okay. You just lost.
I believe that too is the how. Like I really don't say like a fighter if he wins or lose, but it's how he wins and how he loses.
Yeah. So for me, you know, he has an opportunity this weekend to really prove how good of a fighter he is. Now, I know he's a good fighter. I'd be damned to say he's not. But what I'm trying to say is we're talking about Lomachenko. People have been comparing Lomachenko with Floyd Mayweather. People have been comparing Lomachenko to the best in history at the division. So we're talking about a guy who people have high regards for. And
did you compare him like that?
It's hard for me to compare him like that because of his professional career being so short.
Okay.
This is very difficult for me to compare him to that level, but I have to give the man his props. Anybody who could do what he's done, you know, deserves credit. You know, he's a good fighter, man. He's the real deal.
Nah, yeah, I think they both real deals. I do think I see some defensive slippage for me and Lomachenko. I like Lomachenko. I think he's great. I don't think that the Matrix aura. I think he don't have that Matrix aura. I think he's touchable.
Or you don't think he ever had it?
No, not anymore. I said in the last couple of fights, I see some slippage.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't been keeping up with Lomachenko like that. But
ever since the Pedraza fight, and then he got touched up a little bit by Luke Campbell. He got dropped by Linares. So it got to the point where, you know, they little by little, fights by fights, they're timing his movement. At this point, that he's going to be fighting Teofimo Lopez. And I'm also not the type that I like to look at other fighters, because look at Teofimo Lopez. He fought Nakatani, went to the distance, and then he knocked out Richard Comey in 2. So I'm not the type that I got to look at, but he got knocked down. That doesn't mean this guy's going to knock him down. Adrian Broner knocked down Sean Porter. That doesn't mean Keith Thurman and Dennis Garcia knocked him down. So
I mean, and Teofimo's been wanting this fight for a while.
That's when you eyeing a dude for a while, like you eyeing this dude your whole career.
Yeah, like you really been like, yo, like give me him. That's a different dynamic, because when you sitting back and you just observing and you like, man, I know I can beat this guy. I don't give a damn what they say. I know I could beat this guy. You bring something different to the table.
That's like Danny Garcia. That's like Danny Garcia on Earl Spence when he's like, yo, I already see, I seen enough of Earl Spence that I want to fight him, that I could beat him.
I mean, look, man, I like Danny Garcia's chances in this fight. I like him a lot, and I've spoke about this publicly before. And I had a guy. Oh man, I should find a post on my Instagram. One of the rappers, he's a rapper, and I didn't even realize how big of a rapper he was, man. He freaking. I'm gonna find the post. He wanted to bet me $100,000 that Errol Spence is gonna win the fight because I put a post.
Tell me who you pick. Let me tell you who I picked first.
All right, go ahead.
I said it's 50-50 fight, in my opinion. I've told people do not be surprised if Danny Silva Garcia wins. Danny Silva Garcia, in my opinion, he's very comfortable with his style. His performances when he lost is not type of performances where his stock drops. It's respectable. Like that's what I was talking about before, is that how he lost. It's not that if he lost very respectable. Let me see.
Yellow Breezy, he bet me $100,000.
Seriously.
Yellow Breezy on my post. He got 1.9 million followers. He don't even follow me. I don't even follow him, but he saw my post and he jumped on there. And my thing was like, all I kept saying was same thing you just said. Like, why y'all hating on Danny? Like what makes y'all think Danny's like sweet? Like, there's nothing easy about it.
I don't know if it's a narrative that's pushed. I think there's a narrative that is
Danny Garcia. Nothing. You fight Danny Garcia, you know what you just found? You found the fight. You wanted a fight, guess what you got? You got one. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying that Danny's unbeatable. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying, y'all gonna hop in here and act like Danny Garcia is just like, yeah, man, he gonna beat dog hell out of Danny. Do you know how hard Danny Garcia hit? I've seen this guy in person, man. I've seen him spar. I've seen him hit the heavy bag. Like, he's not a regular 147-pounder or whatever. Like, he can punch. We're going to see, man, when a guy like Errol Spence, you know.
Also punch.
Also punch. See what happens, but I can guarantee you this is going to be very exciting. I'm very excited about the fight. I heard that there's going to be a crowd.
Yeah. December 5th. December 5th in Cowboy Stadium.
You think that's gonna happen, or you think the second wave or something's gonna come back? And
man, look, we're gonna hit the politics, man. I get into politics. I say after I think they just waiting for the election, and then everything's gonna open up. I think let me be a conspiracy theorist right quick. I think they need to keep this like this, because if everything fixes up and everything goes back to normal, then Captain Orange gets back on office. If they give you a stimulus check right now, they don't want to give you the stimulus check right now because now it makes Captain Orange look good. So we have to keep it that is worse. But the powers that be, they know when things is going to open up. So December 5th is going to be a crowd. Jimmy Johnson knows that it's going to get better, or that fight wouldn't even be talked about. That's going to be in the stadium. Look at college football. Everything's going to open up, but
I'm trying to go.
It's going to. But with Danny Garcia,
Are you going? Are you going?
Nah, I'm not going to go on that one.
I think I'm gonna go.
I might not go on that one. I was thinking about. I thought they was going to open it up for Devin Haney in Miami. I think he's fighting in Miami.
I'm a big Devin Haney fan now. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm running with Devin Haney, man. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy now. Yo, Bill Haney. Anything Bill Haney does, I'm with it, brother. Let's get it. You know what I mean?
Okay. With Danny Garcia, for me, is just that. Put it this way, right? Because I just don't see Errol Spence as a special fighter. I see him as a great fighter in this the weight division, but I don't see him special. He stays in line for me too much. He does get hit. I think that he's just a bigger guy at 147, you know. He got great grit. That 1-2 to the body, 1-2 to the body, shoulder brings the win. I think he does everything repetitive, where to me, I just don't see it as like special. You know, you remember when Floyd Mayweather said Triple G is straight up and down, no special effects? That's how I see Errol Spence.
I agree and disagree, because he showed that he could box with Mikey Garcia. He showed that he could box. And he showed that he could box when he fought Lamont Peterson. He showed that he could box.
No, he could box. But
so
I'm just
saying is he has two dynamics. He has his boxing, and he can be the aggressor that just walks you down and beats you down, man down. So I think that Errol Spence is a hell of a fighter. I wasn't impressed. And it's very disrespectful for me to say this. I mean, somebody with my boxing mind shouldn't even say this, but I wasn't impressed with how he fought Sean Porter. Now, that's so disrespectful to Sean Porter, because Sean Porter is such a phenomenal fighter. He's such a phenomenal fighter that he can make anybody look bad. So let me rewind and just give Sean Porter his props. But the only reason I'm going to say I wasn't impressed with Errol Spence when he fought Sean Porter is because we had him as a boogeyman leading up to that fight. Before he fought Sean Porter, everybody was like, Errol Spence, oh my God, I don't want to fight Errol Spence. No, he's in the room. Then he fights Sean Porter, and it's like, I thought Sean Porter arguably won the damn fight. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought you know what I'm saying? So my thing is, he's just as good as everybody else in the damn division. And
that's what I've been saying.
If you saw Errol Spence fight for the first time when he fought Sean Porter, that was your first time seeing him, would you be considering him a boogeyman right now?
No, I never considered him as a boogeyman.
No, but he was pretty impressive with how he walked down Kell Brook and how he you know what I mean, how he beat a few. Who else did Errol Spence beat? Because I'm getting a brain freeze right now.
He beat Kell Brook. He beat Carlos Ocampo. he beat Lamont Peterson. He beat Bundu, Chris Algieri. He beat Sean Porter.
You got some good solid names under there, but you know, I just think that people were like literally like scared of him. Like, yo, like Errol Spence gets in there with you, he gonna beat the dog hell out of you. And now we see him fight, and he looks, you know, like everybody else in the division when he steps up in class and fights with Sean Porter. And now we're gonna fight Danny Garcia, and we're gonna forget about that. Like that never happened. Like, yo, hold on. Like
when I analyze things, that's especially in the welterweight division, is that they have Earl Spence like this and everybody else like that. In my opinion, I feel like the top 5 or 6, or you could put an Ugas in there. They all could beat each other.
All could beat each other.
I don't see nobody head and shoulders above anybody in the top 5.
Me neither. I think that one guy could beat a guy twice and still lose the third fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the kind of division it is right now.
Like, if everybody on their A game, everybody on their A game, no injury, just off potential in the welterweight division. My opinion, and let's take Manny Pacquiao, because Manny Pacquiao cemented the legacy.
He did, but let's not forget that boy can still beat.
No, of course,
right now, right?
Of course, but me, it's like he got to cement the legacy that.
Now, hold on, that goes back to what we was talking about with the old fighters and the new fighters. Like, you got a guy like Manny Pacquiao who's from an era right before the era that we're in right now. He's literally only one era before.
Yeah.
He's one era before. He's with the Marco Antonio Barreras, the Eric Moraleses, and them kind of guys. That's the build-up that he came in. And he can still beat today's elite guys like Keith Thurman. He can still go in there, old as hell, drop this guy, win the fight. Imagine these guys fighting those guys back then. Yeah. I mean, that's just a quick way for me to put that.
And let me shout out a couple people. Yo, Johnny, good looking out for that super chat, my brother. He said Flo Mayweather is the biggest coward in boxing history. he hates. John, he hates.
Yo, don't do that.
Chat. What's good? Emil Griffith versus Earl Spence. Who y'all got? Millie Griffith. I don't know.
I don't even know who that is, man. So I'm not even going to answer. Who's that?
I don't know.
I be feeling bad when I don't know who something.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I be like wanting to get off camera, like, yo, hold up. I don't know who that is, man.
My fault, man. I don't know. But Earl's not yet, bro. Earl Spence to me, I think he could get beat by anybody. The top guys. For me, you know who's my ultimate chess match?
He can also beat anybody too. Let's not.
Yeah. You know who's my? You know what was my ultimate chess match in the welterweight division? If they come, AA, Thurman and Bud Crawford.
I was more excited for Spence and Bud Crawford.
Not me. See, I never was excited about that.
I love that fight. But go ahead. We'll talk about Thurman. After what I saw from Thurman and Pacquiao, I mean, I gotta see Bud fight somebody else though, man. Like, Bud,
I gotta see Bud fight somebody else.
Bud fight. I mean, no disrespect to Bud. I mean, I shared the ring corner for corner when he beat Hank Lundy, and I know how good of a fighter that Bud Crawford is. But at the same time, it's like he still got to fight more, man. Like, when does this guy fight, man? Like, hopefully he gets out the situation he's in and we can really see him shine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. To me, now, this is what it is. I think there's a lot of narrative, especially when it comes to this to boxing, to this boxing circuit. When you're breaking down fights, independent media, boxing. I think there's a lot of narratives. I see the technique. I go by styles. I see Bud Crawford and the way he moves, switch up, mixes his punches right, does almost everything right. For me, Keith Tom Thurman, he get touched, had power, had movement. Seen him switch up versus Bundu, knocked him down when he switched to southpaw. So I could see two guys that could switch up when they want to. Very unorthodox. It's almost you can't plan. You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know if Keith Thurman is going to come to outbox you or to outslug you. Danny Silva Garcia, that fight, the first half of the fight, he's slugging. He's going after to knock this dude out. What happens the second half of the fight? Now he's outboxing you. Now he's using his legs. He adjusted, and now you just can't. You too late. Danny Silva Garcia, you're just too late to pick it up. Now, Bud Crawford is the same way. He could come inside the ring, the whole fight and foul southpaw, or he could just switch up. It's hard to plan around these two. That's why I also saw them as the ultimate chess match, because they could box when they want to and they could punch how they want to. Now, a guy like Danny Silva Garcia, they say he's flat-footed. I know what Danny Silva Garcia is coming with. his style. You know, I think Daniel Garcia is more predictable than a Bud, a Bud, a Thurman, or a style like Manny Pacquiao. In my opinion, is more predictable. Earl Spence is more predictable. Ugas is more predictable. Sean Porter, he'll try to box, but I think that's to prove to everybody else so he could change that narrative about him that he's just a brawler, just a brawler. But when he starts to box, that's when Swift Garcia was put it on him. Now he gotta just brawl. He just gotta smother you and you know, things of that nature. That's why I had the ultimate chess match, Thurman and Bud. And Bomac felt the same way on Bud's trainer. He said the hardest fight for Bud will be Thurman because of his movements.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that because Thurman likes to use a lateral movement. He likes to use an in and out rhythm. He's kind of like bouncy on his feet. He got good power with both hands. He's but I just think that Bud is a little sharper, man. I just think that he's got more layers. I think that when the going gets tough, that Bud's gonna dig a little deeper. I think that he's going to make the adjustments necessary, but that's only based off what I've seen from Bud.
Yeah.
That's why I say I got to see him fight more. Like, I need to see him fight somebody, really up there. Like, I feel like his best fight to date, it's the kid from Australia or whatever he was. Like, I mean,
Victor Postal.
Yeah, he beat Postal, and who else did he beat? The one Pacquiao fought.
Gamboa. Oh, Jeff Horn.
Jeff Horn. Like who else did he fight?
So let me ask you that question that you answered earlier. Which fighter you saw Bud Crawford, which you said he proved himself? Dun, 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 dun.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. He's still a little unproven, unfortunately. And unproven at that level. He's unproven. When you say he could beat Danny Garcia, it's like, hold up, Danny Garcia beat him in the amateurs.
Exactly.
When you say he could beat Keith Thurman, it's like, how do you know? When you say he could beat Errol Spence, it's like, how do you know? Who was the common opponent? You haven't even fought a Sean Porter yet, who's obviously the new gatekeeper of the division, who people kind of judge and assess what level they're at.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't even. Didn't he turn down a fight with Sean Porter?
Yeah.
Turned down a fight with Sean Porter. A good gauge fight for us to see.
And with Thurman this year.
So my question to Bud is, you're a fantastic fighter, but we're only being honest now and talking unbiasedly about what makes you the best fighter in the division, and you haven't proved it yet. So I'm gonna say he's an unproven fighter at that level. He is at that level, but at that division, at that level, he's unproven.
So now I'll say this because people, look, Danny Garcia, in my opinion, let's say, Bud Crawford became undisputed at 140. But in my opinion, Danny Garcia has a better resume at 140.
He's proven.
He's been proven, and they never put him in no pound for pound.
And that's why it's disrespectful to count him out against Errol Spence. He's proven.
If he beats Errol Spence, they're gonna blame it on the crash.
Yeah, of course. But at the end of the day, we know what you're getting with Danny Garcia at the highest level. You know you're getting a fight. You know it. You know he might lose, but you know you're getting a fight. You're always getting a guy who has a puncher's chance the whole fight. You know you're getting that. But you don't know what you're getting with Terrence Crawford yet when you fight. You can only assume. You assume that he's gonna win. You assume that he's gonna shine. But we don't know. We know that Danny, what he's been through, what he could take. We've seen him fight Sean Porter and Keith Thurman. Let's see Bud fight one of those guys at least once. You know what I'm saying?
At least one of them.
Yeah.
Even Ugas. What you think about Philly fighter Boots Ennis?
Man, I got nothing but positive things to say about him. I mean, that kid's another kid, phenomenon. I mean, he's like the boogeyman of the division. I mean, behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying? Like, guys know that they doing this right now.
Yep.
These guys know, and he could fight, he could box, he could brawl. He got scary power, man. For somebody who's built like him, he can punch, man. You know what I'm saying?
I interviewed him too.
Yeah, man, that's a hell of an interview because he's gonna be something in the game for a while. And for me, Boots Ennis, from what I've seen, but that's another guy who, right? Like, how do we know until Boots steps up? But
Yeah,
we're basing it off of what we see.
potential. See, yeah.
We're basing it off of potential, and I think that that's how we're judging Terrence Crawford. But um, I definitely see Boots Ennis as a force to be reckoned with, man, in the division.
Now you say you're a fan of Devin Haney. What do you think about Devin Haney? What
Man,
do you
I've
see?
always said that kid could fight, man. Even even before I even got a chance to meet him, I always said he could fight, man. He boxes. He reminds me a little bit, and this may sound cliche, but he reminds me of Floyd Mayweather a little bit. He does
Mm.
things that Floyd Mayweather does and used to do when he was his age. A lot of lateral movement, good boxing, good jab, good combinations, very smart, good IQ. I'm not saying he's Floyd. I'm not saying that he's the next coming of Floyd, but I'm just saying I see the similarities there. And he's just a fantastic boxer. And his father has done a fantastic job at bringing him to different coaches and letting
Yeah.
other trainers work with his son, and just being open to that. So therefore his son can get a different understanding and a different mentality of how boxing works, and it's showing and it's working, man. What he's done with his son is phenomenal. It's just a good thing, man. I love it.
Another upcoming fight, December 5th, is you already know that there's Danny Swift Garcia, Sean Earl Spence, but the same day is Ryan Garcia versus Luke Campbell.
Interesting. Ryan Garcia has been impressive as of late, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I had, there was one time, and I feel bad, little behind the scenes story, man. I'm gonna say it publicly. I feel a little bad because there was a girl in my gym that really liked Ryan Garcia. She was like, "Oh my God, Ryan Garcia!" So when I saw Ryan Garcia at a Tevin Farmer weigh-in, I actually walked up to him and said, "Yo, would you mind saying like what's up to one of my girl fighters at my gym? She's a big fan of yours." So he was like, "Yeah, no problem." He told her, "Hey, sweetheart, thank you, blah blah blah." He showed love. I was like, "Yo, good looking." We started following each other, all of that. And then something happened with Tevin Farmer and him on the internet, and I went ahead and said some foul shit, and I was like, "Man, Tevin Farmer will stop Ryan Garcia." He unfollowed me. You know what I'm saying?
The new beef. The new beef.
So he was like, "Oh, I like, man, whatever, man. It is what it is." But Ryan Garcia, I ain't got no problems with you, man. Look, I'm impressed with him. I think that he's doing a good job. I think he looks good, and I just think that he's got a really bright future in the sport, man. I think he reminds me of Oscar De La Hoya, man. Like he's like the new version of Oscar De La Hoya. They're grooming him up. He's the golden boy right now.
Yo, yeah, I want to know how people follow. I want to know the process, like.
I gave that motherfucker a picture for his student. Fuck him. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. You're not my friend.
I'm one of them guys, like, you know what I mean? If I'm with you, I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm with Tev, man. Like, Tev's my guy. That's what it is, you know what I mean?
Nah. Hey, look, I did a video. And look, we laugh about it. I did a video of Ryan Garcia when, in July, he decided he didn't want to fight on July 4th. And then he pulled out of another fight that Golden Boy Promotions had in store for him. And I'm like, come on, man, you the new Golden Girl. And I did a whole skit, my video and stuff like that. Oh man. The Garcia camp hit me up.
He unfollowed you too.
Not really. The Garcia camp hit me up. Say, you a damn asshole. I said, yo. But then he hit me up. He hit me up on Twitter, and he's like, yo, I don't take that from heart. Yo, you a funny guy. You make me laugh. And I'm like, yo, that's what's up. I thought that, you would have been on some, that you would have had like feelings or whatever. You know how they say, man, nah, man, I don't take it serious, man. I see it's entertaining, man. You make me laugh. I'm like, all right, cool.
That's good. That's good character on his behalf.
Yeah. I mean, they do it. Boxers do it. They talk trash knowing that it's not really I'm talking trash about you. We just promoting the fight. So It's almost the same thing. I'm promoting a content.
Right.
I mean, I don't got nothing really against you. If I don't like a fighter, you would know, but it is what it is, man.
Right.
But I got Ryan beating Luke on that one.
Yeah. Ryan's really looking real good, man, as of lately, man. I give him his props. He looks sharp. He looks good with Reynosa. Looks like they're doing a good thing by him being next to Canelo. I think it's helping his confidence too. So I think when you get a talented fighter and you put them in an environment where their confidence can be raised, that's when you get the best fighter. I think that's another overlooked strategy by trainers is put your fighter in an environment of other quality fighters so then they can go ahead and rise up. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's what a fighter needs. I think a young fighter like Ryan Garcia is benefiting from that.
I'm asking you a question. What you feel about what Paulie Malignaggi said? He said back then, Jewish and the Irish was running boxing, and then in the 70s, 60s to the 90s, African American fighters, and then he said now is Eastern Europeans. He got fired from Showtime for saying those comments, saying that it was a racist. No, and he also said, let me add, I'm sorry. He also said that he didn't feel in 2020 there's no oppression in America. That's another conversation. If you want to add on that one, we can add on that one. We go deep on that. But do you feel he's right that Eastern Europeans right now is the come up in boxing?
I think Eastern Europeans are taking boxing very serious. I think that it's the number one sport over there, if I'm not mistaken, or number two. It's up there. This is in the top 2 or 3 sports in the UK.
Like it used to be in America back in the 70s.
In America, I believe it's 5 or 6, and in the UK it's like 1 or 2. So that tells you right there how serious they're taking boxing. So I don't know what the data shows. I don't know what the numbers show, but I'm pretty sure that they're taking it serious over there. I don't know if they're I don't know if you can compare what they're doing though to what happened here in the United States with the Jewish and Italian fighters and the blacks and the Latinos. I don't think you can compare it because I don't see blacks and Latinos stopping anytime soon over here. I think that we embrace fighting. We love it. We like to do it more. I think that a lot of the Jewish and the Italian fighters somehow got out of it. You know what I mean? Either they decided to do something else or whatever the case may be. But we kind of kept on with it. We're running with it, and that's just really basically. I don't think that's ever going to stop in the United States of America. I think we're constantly going to produce some of the best black fighters and Latino fighters, that you're going to find in the world, not just in the United States. I think that we're going to produce the best boxers in the world. So my personal opinion is, that UK is not taking it over now. As far as pressure in America, I think that's a deep rooted subject, and I don't even know if we have enough time to get into that right now. You know what I mean?
Hey, you can make it's a brief. You can make it brief because because here in Punch Drunk Boxing, man, we get deep. Pause up in here.
I mean, I just think I'm saying pause. I mean, yo, look, man, it's when it comes to the racist issues in this country and the oppression issues and all that type of stuff, man.
No PG. Let hey.
I just think that it's unfair to say that it doesn't exist, to say the least. We can't say it doesn't exist. Saying something exists is like saying electricity doesn't exist. Like, oh, it exists. Now, at what level that people are blowing it out of proportion or whatever, that's a whole different situation. But to say that it doesn't exist, it's like saying police brutality doesn't exist or judging somebody doesn't exist. Like, it all exists. Let's just be honest about it. So, for me, it's just a situation of how far do we want to use this as an excuse on why we're not getting ahead or whatever. That's a whole nother topic in itself. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't know if he should have got fired though. I just think that, he spoke his mind, and I think that you should be allowed to speak your mind. And it's unfortunate that as soon as you bring up anything on that line of you get fired, it's kind of unfortunate that that's the world we live in right now.
Look, I'ma say it.
It says wants to access controller Safari, blah, 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 blah. I'm just going to say don't allow. All right, go ahead. Something popped up on my screen. I don't know what that was.
Now, I'm going to say this. In America today, in my opinion, there's no oppression. In my opinion, there's no oppression. Now, like you said, there's levels to some shits, right? I say it like this.
Hold on. Before I speak on something, what's the correct definition of oppression? What is the definition of oppression?
I mean, we could Google, but I don't want to Google. So let me just give you my oppression is for me, somebody's oppressing, somebody's keeping you from attaining something or growing, keeping you in one spot. They're oppressing you from having something. I mean, they're keeping you from gaining something, attaining something. How you say it? Whatever. I can't get the word right. But I think it's just keeping you from gaining or things of that nature. I feel like ain't no man, no woman is gonna stop me. There's no way I'm oppressed by anything. I just feel like, in my opinion, today in 2020 in America. Now, if you would have told me this in 19, or back in the days, now for me, yeah, there was oppression, but the oppression kept you from attaining something. There could be oppressing now, but I just don't see it because there's nobody gonna stop me from attaining anything I want.
Right. I think, like you said earlier, there's levels to oppression. So maybe you're not being oppressed in such a way where it's blatantly in your face, but there may be obstacles put in your way that you may not even realize are obstacles to prevent you from getting to a certain dynamic. Maybe you want to get into a certain industry. Maybe you want to buy a certain part of real estate or something. Maybe some people control these things and they're not allowing you to get involved with that. That's another way to oppress you from getting to that next level that you're trying to get to. But maybe just opening up your laptop and creating a platform, yeah, you're not oppressed to do that. But when you say levels to this, we have to talk about, what do we own as Latinos? What do the Black people own as African Americans? What are the things that we really, really own at the highest level that control this country? And I just think that it's difficult for us to get up there now. Is it impossible? Nothing's impossible. But when it's more difficult for you than it is for another group of people, I just think that that's a form of oppression. But at the same time, I don't believe in making excuses on why you're not living a happy life, on why you're not, succeeding. Because a lot of the people that are complaining about oppression don't even want the things that they're complaining about. So it's like, what are you complaining about? Like, you don't even want that. So if you're happy living how you living and you're able to wake up every day and do what you want to do and ain't nobody got you in shackles, hey, man, you living a good life now. Let's be appreciative and let's try to get better. But, man, to each his own. But it's like you said, the best way to say it, there's levels to everything. And I just think that people who are too smart know too much, and then they get stressed. Sometimes it's better not to even know some stuff. You think? Yeah.
But it's almost like also like when you just mentioned about, that what do we own to keep, to have some control. But even that, we want control. So we want the same thing that other people, that the one that's controlling us, we want control. Are we trying to have control? We just trying to have a decent life, because it's just the 1%er that's going out there. Like, are you trying to have control and be and control a whole?
That's what I mean. So my thing is, look, all I'm saying is, if you go down in Manhattan right now and you look at the big skyscrapers or whatever, how many Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Brazilians, Black people that own those buildings? And if we wanted to own those buildings, can we even get a chance to own those buildings? And when I'm talking about stuff like that, what I'm saying is, I don't know. I'm not really the smartest guy in the subject, but from what I know, it's not as easy for us. It's not as easy for us to do certain things. And when it's not as easy, you're making it a little harder for me. Just our environment alone, the neighborhoods that we growing up in the inner city alone, that environment, being from that environment, it's just more difficult than growing up in like a suburban upper scale environment. So you're influenced by what's around you. This gets deep. That's why I said this is such a deep topic that we can go back all day. Because think about it. If you grow up in the city, right? Mm-hmm. you're starting to break up a little, just so you know, and you're starting to look like how my camera did
Oh,
2
yeah.
nights ago.
I don't see it. I think on my end it look good.
Okay. All right, cool. So think about this. If you grow up in the South Bronx,
You charging your laptop, right? It's charged.
uh I got 16%. No, I'm not charging it, but where I'm set up, I really can't. But anyway, I'll get to that. But just a quick point. I don't know how we got here. But if you grow up in the
SD.
South, if you grow up in the South Bronx, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say you grow up, you don't know where you're born, right? You're born into a family. You're just here now. You just, you're a young kid, 8, 9, 10 years old. You live in the hood. And the only people that are successful around you are the drug dealers and the people who you see with the nice cars, the drug dealers and stuff like that, because those guys couldn't go to colleges and stuff like that. They weren't, their parents didn't pay for them to go to college because they couldn't afford it. And so they ended up figuring out another way to get money on the street, et cetera, et cetera. You're a young kid looking up to these people. You are aspiring to be successful. And your definition of success is different than somebody who grows up where their neighbor's a doctor, their layers are the judge, the other neighbor's a freaking chief of police. And you grow up and you want to go to college now. You want to become a chief of police. You want to be a lawyer. You want to be all these things that are upstanding citizen jobs because it's what you grow up seeing. But we grow up, we see the wrong things. We want to be the wrong things. Now we go to jail. Now we got criminal records. Now we got these records. When we come home, we want to get a good job. You can't get a job because you're a felon. But it was a setup from the beginning. So, my whole thing is it's not all one side. You have to listen to both views. And I'm not Republican or Democrat. I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm not either one. So I'm not leaning toward either one, but I'm just saying I see both views. But when I see somebody complaining and moaning and griping and they're not doing nothing to change their situation and they're just accepting all the help that the government gives and they're not trying to get out there and get it on their own, I can't respect that either because I'm an entrepreneur and I've been getting it and I'm not complaining. You see what I'm saying? So it's somewhat of it's a very funny, touchy, like it's one of those situations I almost don't even want to touch it. I'm like, I don't even want to touch it right now because I know people have such strong views on both sides. You know what I mean?
I just think, look, when you with your lady or your wife, and then you have kids, you become a leader. You're a leader. They look for you to lead. If the father in the household is figuring, is blaming something on somebody else, your wife is gonna be double times as stressed, and then the kids know that the parents are stressed, then your whole is ambiguity, your whole household. So if I tell my son morally, I don't care how the world is. I tell my son, you could achieve anything you want to be, right? That's what we tell our kids. You could be whatever you want to be. So if I tell my kids I could be whatever you could be whatever you want to be, but then I complain that somebody's oppressing me. No, because morally, you telling your kids you could be whatever you want to be. That oppressing, I don't see it. It's Casper the Friendly Ghost. It's there, but it doesn't affect me. Before, okay. And that's what I mean.
So you're acknowledging that it exists, but it's not enough to stop you.
Yeah, and I feel like it's like that.
When Mananaji said it, he said it doesn't exist as if it's a fantasy in the minds of the minorities. That's stretching the truth now. Now what you're saying is we're bugging. That shit don't exist. Y'all got the same opportunities as us. We got the same opportunities to a degree. But then it gets capped out when we try to get to another level. You dig what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So my point is, there's a thin line there. It's like, bro, if I see you drinking right now, you drinking some moonshine. What if somebody put nothing but moonshine around you on a Friday night and said, Joe, you can't have a drink. You can't have not one sip of moonshine. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have water. And you like, damn, though, I'm trying to get nice on the weekend. You gonna slow. Okay, so now you can't do something that's tempting you, but you have nothing but temptation around you. That's how it is for a kid growing up in the hood. You got nothing but temptation around you from a very young age, and you expect this kid to walk a straight and narrow line his whole entire life. and then he gets caught up on a weed charge or something stupid. Now he goes to jail, and then it happens again or whatever. Now you got a criminal record. Now they could judge you and say, look at you, criminal. You've been getting arrested since you was 14, blah, blah, blah. You can't come over here. You can't do this. You can't do that. So it's like, bro, you set me up. Like, you know, then you got these other kids who grew up in a privileged situation, and they know the judge, and the judge is friends with their father, and hey, man, can you just sweep this under the rug? Pew, that's gone. And now next thing you know, these kids, nobody knows anything about their wrongdoings. Come on, man. It's like, we have to be real. Oppression exists, but if you let it stop you, that's your fault.
Yeah, and also I do. You know what I think lacks in our community? Accountability.
Right.
So if we do know, if we have a feeling like we're gonna get jerked, we're gonna get this. Like you said, oh, he got arrested with a weed charge. Why are you smoking weed if you know it's breaking the law? Yeah, it's petty, but why are you smoking weed? You know you can get arrested.
If you're gonna smoke weed, let's be smart about it and let's not be caught doing it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because think about it. Like, okay, let's say I'm living a suburban life. A suburban life is new to me, right? It's new. I'm a city. I'm from New York, Wash Heights, Harlem, BX. It's a whole different lifestyle. I see that in the suburbs, they do drugs. But you know what? They do it in their house. In the city, we do drugs outside. You see the crackheads in the park. Everybody smoking weed in the stool, drinking and smoking. We do it outside because we don't want to be crunched up in a little apartment. In the suburban, I see that, yo, there's a football game. People go to each other's houses. In the city, we heading to the bar. We go out and do our thing. Well, suburban,
some of it is programmed, like on how we were raised up. Like that's why I said, when you say this is deep, this is so deep, Moonshine, that I can't. Like, I really believe that we could talk about this all night because I see both views. I see both sides, but I can be a devil's advocate again because, you know, listen to the music we listen to. We like hip hop. We talk about criminal this, criminal that, right? So it makes us look bad. But who owns the labels? And then if you think about who owns the labels, you also have to think about who pushes it.
Who distributes it, yeah.
Who pushes it. So you got a rapper out here rapping about something positive and he gets shelved. Then you got another kid who's getting pumped and getting bread because he's talking about some criminal activity. So now the next kid coming up is like, yo, I'm not rapping about that. I'm getting to the bag. I'm rapping about that. And what is he doing? He's trying to make legal money. He's trying to do things the right way by being a rapper and not actually doing what he's talking about in his raps, but he's still talking about negative stuff, that which in turns influences somebody in the hood to do negative stuff, which then influences the next kid behind one, each one teach one. So it gets so deep that it's just like, bro, this mind control thing is real. Like, this is a setup. This is a setup. So we have to remember, you can't relate to us if you never lived like us. It's easy to judge somebody from the outside. It's like judging a boxer. Yeah. Oh, that boxer should have threw the left hook to the body. You get punched in your face for fucking 3 rounds. Matter of fact, for 1 round. And let me see you slip, go to the body, pivot, throw the overhand, do this. Let me see you do that. Let me see you wake up, go running and train and do that. So how can somebody who never lived in the hood, somebody who knows nothing about the minorities, personally, you can know what you saw, but you didn't live it, tell me that, oh yeah, we equal. No, you don't know. You don't know. You ain't us.
So that's the mind control right there for me. When I say that there's no oppression. If I say racism is an illusion, you my people from the same community, you're gonna be like, come on, yo, come on, punch, yo, Moonshine, you tripping right now. And I'll be like, nah, racism is an illusion. I'm not giving you that power because I know there's a power that wants us divided, that wants us emotional. Once we identify where you want me emotional, I'm like, nah, there's no racism. I don't see it. Nobody's oppressing me. But then it's like, yeah, there is oppression. No, nobody's oppressing me. I don't believe in racism. I think it's a made up word. I'm mind fucking myself and making billion. I'm going to mind fuck my own kids. So they cut cheese, so they won't think that they're going to be self-victimhood about something. Because once you have that self-victimhood about something, you're always going to blame it on somebody. Your shortcomings.
I like that strategy. That's a good strategy because, look, man, I got some really good friends from all races. And I have nothing bad to say about any race. You know what I mean? And I also have something. I look at it from both sides. Like I said, I believe that there's some form of unfairness in this world for Black and brown people. But I also feel that there's a lot of excuses in our community, and I feel like there's a lot of issues that we need to fix within ourselves. That if we don't fix them, ain't nobody gonna fix them for us. And now in 2020, with the internet, with the technology that we have, the fact that you can Google anything that you want to know within 1.1 seconds, there's no excuse for somebody coming up in this day and age to not make something of himself, or at least be so educated and understand the loop, the obstacles he's gonna have to overcome to get there. So I think that these new era of kids need to just be smart and just be educated, and self-education is what they need. They need to really self-educate, because some of the stuff that you need to learn to survive out here, you're gonna have to learn it on your own. You're gonna have to, because somebody might not teach it to you.
There's the era of information. There's the era of information. And for me, the people I think the sad people in life is the people that withhold information. I can't live knowing that something is working and I'm not going to tell my peoples or my circle. And I think that's what happens in our community too. Is a thing that I can't wait to leave the hood. But yeah, when we make it out the hood, we don't go back and teach them how they could leave that mindset, whether it's physically or mentally. That's what I think that's the problem in our community as well. That they are successful stories, but they leave. We leave, so we don't see it.
The good thing is we got the internet now, so as long as the people go, like as long as guys like yourself and other people that made it and whatever can go ahead and say, listen, man, this is what I did. You can do it too, and they actually could look up to you in a positive way. And then that's what I was talking about as far as what we look up to. Good thing is we got the internet. The bad thing about the internet is a double-edged sword, right? You can look up at ignorant shit all day. I be having people that I'm cool with sending me nothing but ignorant stuff all day. I'm like, this is what you're looking at on the internet all day? The only thing I'm looking at on the internet is like different ways to empower myself. When I'm on YouTube, I'm constantly educating. YouTube is like my college, like education. Any questions I got, I go to YouTube and hope that somebody made a video on it. So for me, it's about educating yourself. And I just think that if these kids can just find, something in somebody successful that looks like them, you always resonate better to somebody that looks like you. You know what I'm saying? Like me, I started boxing because of Felix Tito Trinidad. When I saw Felix Trinidad, I was like, oh, Puerto Rican. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, that's me. In my own mind, I was Felix Tito Trinidad when I was hitting the bag. Like, he inspired me to box. And it's because he was a Puerto Rican fighter. And he was a, darkest skinned Puerto Rican fighter. And I was just like, yeah, Tito. So when we see something that reflects us doing the right things and showing it, like, look, man, you could be me. If you're looking at your grandmother and your mother or your father, and they're working hard 12 hours a day, but they can still barely put food on the table, and you like, I'm not doing that. Look how hard you got to work, ma. Look how hard you got to work. And I'm out here and seeing all these other guys out here doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be like, I'm not doing that, man. I'm gonna go ahead and hustle, man. I got to get to this money. And that's the problem, you know what I mean?
Now, off the record, I told you about this person that went to DR to scout other person. Remember I told you, right?
Yeah. My laptop backing up, my bad.
Now, put it this way. Now, look at this platform, right? Mm-hmm. It's not a big platform, but
that's the biggest platform in boxing right now.
That's what I'm talking about. Tell them, guys, we're gonna take a shot for that one. We're gonna take a shot with that one. That's what I'm talking about. Damn it, smash the like button. Now, this how I see it. Now, I've said it before, and I told you this before. I said I'm not money driven, right? There's certain things that satisfy me. Of course, I want money. I like money. I like to pay my bills, and I like to be comfortable when of course, anybody wants to be that. But I had an interview with somebody. Somebody saw that interview. Now, that little interview could impact somebody's life so big that is worth more really than money. Like if I see that person that's going to get scouted, let's say, and hopefully this person gets signed, makes his life better, comes to this country just off this platform. And I'll look at it and I'll be like, yo, then I'll be like, I'll feel so grateful and a blessing that I had this platform that created this dream that this somebody else had, where we wasn't even a connect. I mean, we connected in some ways, but you never, that I always knew from the beginning, you never know who's looking. I don't care if there's one person looking at my stream, and I don't care if it's 10,000. There's gonna be a life that I'm going to change. I know that. I'm going to see to that. I'm very positive about that. It's one way I'm gonna motivate you some way, you know. So, and I see that in trainers. Trainer could instill something that you never thought that you had. You could have a kid that didn't have heart, was scared.
I could tell you how many kids I've trained that don't, and then to this day, don't know how good they could be, man. And I just be like, that's crazy, man. Like, if you only knew. I got a kid by the name of Marshall Schreiber. I had this kid since he was 8 years old. This kid could box. He don't know it though. That's the crazy part.
Oh, okay.
Outs himself and stuff like that. And he's about 14 years old now, and he got over 40 fights. Talented, but if you knew how much he doubted himself in certain situations, but if you knew how talented he was, you'd be like, why are you doubting yourself? And it's like that with human beings, all walks of life. You know what I mean? We doubt ourselves. And there's always people looking from the outside saying, damn, man, you got it, man. Just go for it. And we don't see it. Like, we can't see it. So it's my job as a trainer to try to, like, really take a person and say, dude, you really could do this, man. Like, stop playing. Like, you got this. You know what I mean? So,
yo, I think it's power. I mean, it's powerful what you do. It is powerful. Just think about a kid that, let's say he had no courage, and then years later he'd be like, and let's say you was a trainer, he was paying monthly, right? And you working with a lot of people, just like teachers work with a lot of students, and they move on to the next grade, But this person comes up to you and be like, you know what? You inspire me. You changed my life. I never got bullied again, or things of that nature. That probably $150, $100 that he paid you a month. When you listen to that, that's priceless.
Yeah, that's nothing. That's nothing. That's what I try to tell people, man. Like, boxing is deeper than jabs, crosses, and hooks, man. It's like, it teaches you so much. It teaches you hard work. Like, listen, man, when you want to quit, especially in a boxing workout or even in a sparring, when you want to quit and you have to talk to yourself, like, no, I got to get through the round. I got to push through. What do you think that does in your work life? What do you think that works when something personal happens in your life when you want to quit? You learn to work through the pain. You learn to develop character. And that's something that boxing teaches you through the physical fitness aspect of it, through the blood and guts aspect of
nutrition too.
Yeah, for the nutrition, everything, the discipline. You got to be disciplined. You want to be successful, you got to go to sleep at a certain time. You got to wake up. You got to do this. Boxing teaches you that. Like, it teaches you discipline. It holds yourself accountable, because if you don't do what you're supposed to do, it's going to show when you go to the gym. So boxing teaches you accountability. So it'll take somebody like what you were talking about, that you said that we don't hold ourselves accountable, and it'll force you to be accountable. And then what ends up happening is you transfer that over to other areas of your life, and you don't look at everybody else. You look at yourself. That's what I love about boxing. Boxing is an independent sport. So since when I was an amateur boxer, I had to be independent. So it taught me that if I don't get it done, it doesn't get done. And that's one of the greatest lessons you can learn from boxing. If I don't run, guess what? I don't get in shape. If I don't wake up, guess what? I miss my exercise routine, whatever. If I don't throw these punches, I lose the fight. It's up to you. Mm-hmm. And that's the same thing with life, right? Boxing's a metaphor of life. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, you still, at the end of the day, even with all the obstacles in front of you, you can't blame nobody but your damn self, because you didn't try. And that's what boxing teaches you.
Hey, you can't be oppressed in boxing, that boxing ring.
Once you're in there, man. It don't matter if you're oppressed, like you said. It don't matter. If I come into the room, look, you judge me. Look at this guy. He got the Yankee hat on. He got the hoodie on. He a minority. He from New York City. He's and then and then I just start like, yeah, whatever. So look, guys, today what we're gonna focus on is, and then they start listening. They're like, wow, this guy knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah,
It
but
don't matter no
that's exactly what I've been saying.
Yeah,
Like,
it don't even matter no more because they're gonna be like, yo, I was wrong about that guy. That guy,
yeah,
no matter what I thought about him, he knows his stuff. And at the end of the day, we just want to connect with people who know what they're doing, who know their stuff, who are positive people, who are trying to get us better one way or another. So
that's it's the power of love. If somebody be, yo, Coach Anthony, man, you ain't shit, bro. You don't know how to do this. Be like, yo, I love you, bro. You need something to eat, man. Shut up, man. Yo, Jesus loves you, man. Yo, I love you, you my brother. And you hit him with that they can't get you to the point where, because you hit him with the, yo, I love you. It's all right, man. You my brother. No matter what you say to me, you my brother, and I love you, man. I hope your family's doing good too. I'll do anything for you. Yo, that shit kills them because they'll be like,
I don't even want to talk to you no more, man. All right, you win. Bye.
it doesn't bother you. It's like if you driving and you cut somebody off and they be like, fuck you. And you be like, and you keep on driving. That's it. It was just a fuck you. It didn't affect me. And that's what I mean about oppression. That's what I mean about racism. Is there racism out there? Yeah. But we living in a time where your racism is not going to affect me. We're not living in the age where if you read a book and you get killed by them knowing that you learn how to read. And that's what I mean today. Yeah, there's oppression, but the type of oppression today is not going to keep you. The oppression of yesterday, see, it's oppression and lack of opportunity. All we want is opportunity. I don't want shit from nobody, but if you give me that opportunity, you give me that door, that cracked door that I deserve to be open, then I don't give me no handout. Don't give me none of that shit. Give me that opportunity. Make sure that every human in this world gets what they deserve, and that's opportunity, that's freedom, and that's it. I take care of the rest.
Right. Yeah, that's always been my motto. I'm the same exact way there. I'm the same exact way.
Yeah.
Yo, guess what? I got like 5% left.
Yeah.
I think we can end it on this note. You know
Yeah, man, we can end it on this note. Oh, yo, again.
This went deep. Pause, like real deep. Like pause
Yeah.
again. Like yeah.
Pause again. Hey, yo.
But yo, but it's real. Look, man. At the end of the day, man, boxing life, baby. You know what I mean? Boxing is life. Boxing life, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm saying? Good night. All I got to do.
Well,
Okay.
Enjoy listening to you. Chop it up. Good looking out. Chit.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And, listen, man, at the end of the day, we all human beings. We all want to be better. We all, at the end of the day, I truly, honestly believe most people, have the right intent. And, you're going to bump into a few people who don't. You just got to put your blinders on, man. You know what I'm saying? And stay focused and you'll be all good. You know what I mean?
Please let everybody know about the Zoom, the virtual training that you do.
Yeah, so I have a website, CoachAnthonyBoxing.com. I have digital downloads that you could download. You can go ahead and download anything from how to do footwork, how to counterpunch, the Philly shell, right? The world famous Philly shell. I got a whole system on it. Just a lot of different things that you can learn. I also provide a Zoom session or any kind of session, StreamYard, whatever I decide to use that basically gives us a chance to interact one-on-one, and I can actually train you. And I also have my YouTube channel, Coach Anthony Boxing, where I'm giving out free boxing techniques. So if you don't want to go to my website, if you don't want to spend any money with me, all good. Go to YouTube. I got nothing but a bunch of free stuff on there. You can just go up and down the list, get to know who I am if you don't know who I am. And hopefully you can get something out of it. I know you will.
They know who you are. You world-renowned trainer, man. World-renowned, man.
Yeah, you know what, man? It's funny because everything I ever said I wanted to do as a coach, I basically done. Now it's just about taking it to the next level. So if you believe, you really can achieve, you know what I mean? Like they say. And, it's crazy. I said I wanted to open a gym. I did that. I said I wanted to work with a high-level professional fighter on HBO. I did that. Showtime did that. Then I said I wanted to work with a guy who fought for a world championship one day. Did that. Then I did it again. Then I said, you know what? We fell short those 2 times we went for the world title. I love to work with a fighter who actually wins the world title. Did that. So, you know what I'm saying? Everything I wanted to do, I did it. And I did it in a pretty significantly quick period of time. So, it's really the law of attraction, the energy you put out into this universe. All of that stuff is real, man. Take it serious. keep them positive vibes. Don't be out here soaking up too much of this negativity that's going on in the internet. I know it's real easy to get trapped into it. That's why I kind of try to like deflect it and shoulder roll it whenever I can, because for me, man, I just know where it ends up. It always ends up in an argument. It always ends up in some sort of a debate or people feeling funny amongst each other, and it's just not worth it at the end of the day, because as soon as that conversation's over, you're like, damn, that was a pretty cool dude, man. We just ruined our relationship over something stupid. So, you know, just try to deflect that, keep your positive mentality, and just, whatever your thoughts and beliefs are, you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that, but just try not to push that on nobody else who disagrees with you. Just do you, and you be all right, man. You be good.
Yeah, I'm with that, man. Thank you very much, man. It's a blessing. It's an honor to have Coach Anthony with us, man.
Man, I love your show, man. I love what you're doing. I see you going very, very far. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. I'm honored that you brought me on here. I'm honored that you reached out to me, man. Trust me. I don't think of myself as somebody who, you know what I mean, you bring value too, man. I appreciate you, my brother.
Man, thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate that, brother.
All right.
Yo, have a great night. Have a blessed night. Drink some wine. You already know, chill with the wife. Thanks, bro.
Boxing like, baby.
All right, brother.
All right.
Yo. Hold on.